think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation.
Oh, welcome in everybody. How's everybody doing here today? It's Saturday. That means we're back with the Gran Turismo racing community, ladies and gentlemen. So, BMW series finale last weekend. Great race there by all the drivers in that finale round. It was a great little championship series, and Doug Barrow, of course, crowned our official BMW E30 Mini Series champion after everything was all said and done last week. So congratulations to Doug Barrow, who we will see on track here in this Pro Division in just a little bit. So, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, much love to the sponsors, of course, Apex Race Sim Racing Team and GT45 Gaming, and Hyper Graphics for the visuals, as always. Do an amazing job here, providing us great stuff to look at while we're broadcasting these races for everybody. And I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. We had a little bit of a brain fart there. I hope everybody's ready tonight. So where are we here for round 6? This is our GT4 Championship Series. This is the big championship series. And of course, this is a sponsored series here tonight. We don't have a full field here tonight, but it's not too bad of a grid. So some guys are going to tackle the mountain today. 90 minutes around Bathurst. Here's the deal. Normally, it's just a medium tire required tire here. We don't use any of the other racing tire compounds. This week, the drivers are allowed, let's go, says Miss Devious, to use whatever tire compound that they feel fit to use in the race. So, if the drivers want to use the racing hard tire, they can. If they want to use the racing medium tire, they can. And if they want to use that racing soft tire, they can. Now, fuel and tire wear settings all remain the same here, ladies and gentlemen. It's 4 times fuel and 3 times, 4 times tire, 3 times fuel. So the mountain, ladies and gentlemen, Mount Panorama. That's right. We head all the way down under to Australia here today for this 90-minute endurance race. And if we're going to do some endurance racing, it's only fitting that we do it here at Mount Panorama. Absolutely amazing circuit, ladies and gentlemen. Difficult circuit. The drivers won't really be racing each other here today. These drivers are going to be battling the mountain today. The mountain, you got to respect the mountain. If you don't respect the mountain will make you pay. So the drivers need to keep it right and tight for 90 full minutes here today to see which of our drivers we're crowning first, second, and third place here in round 6. So this is the midway point of the season. That's why we see the long race here this season. And then we'll have a little bit of a break here at the GTRC. So next week we will not see any racing from the GTRC community. It will be a break while we get prepared for the next mini season coming up very soon. Now, if everybody remembers, we did announce that there just last weekend. We are coming up for the remaining 6 weeks of our major championship. We'll be running a Radical Super Series beside it. Mini series, of course, but nonetheless, Radicals are the cars on the charge. So, still taking registration, still taking names. If people are interested in racing some Radicals around for a few weeks here at the GTRC community, please feel free to just jump into the Discord, hit us up, send us a message. We'll get you guys in, or gals, in here, and we'll get you all set up. I think we're going to get qualifying here right now, if I'm not mistaken. We got some lobby settings being changed here right now, so we're going to see some qualifying here very, very shortly. So while we wait, let's talk about the track. Mount Panorama Motor Racing Circuit, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, pretty iconic racetrack, this racetrack. V8 supercars are definitely the poison around here, typically at Mount Panorama. The Australians, they race those cars absolutely just fantastically down, and especially around Bathurst here. We just seen the most recent Bathurst 12-hour race here just a few weeks ago. It was an incredible race. It was a history-setting race. It was a record-breaking race as well, with those GT3 cars out on the track and the GT4 cars as well. So lots of racing history here at Mount Panorama. So let's talk about it here real quick. Qualifying has started, so we'll get with that in just a second. The length of the track, ladies and gentlemen, is 3.8 miles, 6.2 kilometers. It has 23 left and right hand turns, has tarmac road surface, and it is a world circuit, meaning that they are sanctioned races on it still currently today. Elevation change of 570 feet, and it is a mountain, ladies and gentlemen, and we will talk a little bit more about Mount Panorama here in just a little bit. But in the meantime, let's get to the action. So on board here with Hair Razors is about halfway down the mountain on his outlap here, ladies and gentlemen. The driver's just jumped out on track, and it looked like he caught the wall there, actually. Alright, so these are just the outlaps here at qualifying. So while he is getting ready to take us for a lap around Mount Panorama, we will get ready to walk everybody through it. I just need to bring up my notes. So again, track maps, ladies and gentlemen, compliments of Miss Devious, one of our special operations administrators here at GT45 Gaming. She does an absolutely incredible job on these maps, and we'll walk you through it here throughout the stream today. It's a 90-minute race, so we're going to have lots of time to talk about the track, the information on the maps, and we'll break it down for you. There's some fun stuff in this map as well, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. We got Hair Razor just coming around the final stretch here right now. So start finish line, official qualifying starts now, ladies and gentlemen, coming into the first corner here, and I believe it's called Hell Corner if I'm not mistaken. That takes us onto the mountain straight, and then we start heading into the mountain. So this is the easy part of the racetrack. Essentially, you survive corner one at the beginning of the race, you're already in good shape, and then you've got this very long stretch, 0.7 miles. And then that leads us into the mountain entrance. So here you're going to be on the brakes down in the third gear, try to roll through, get on the power as early as you can, try to keep it on the inside of that curbing. That's Griffin's Bend right there. That now takes us into the cutting and quarry corner. So the cutting is right here, and a fitting name, very fitting name for this corner actually, ladies and gentlemen. And then from there that takes us into quarry corner. Alright, so through quarry corner we're going to go up through Reed Park. And then this takes us into Frog Hollow, which is this little kinky corner right here. That takes us up through Reed Park, which is they're going by Solman Park, and then it takes us into McPhillamy, and then we're back down the mountain. So through Skyline here, we go down into the Dipper, which is this corner right here. This left-hander, we'll call that the Dipper, and then of course that takes us down through the S's into Forest Elbow, which is of course this really hard left-hander 180-degree corner, very vital, important corner for this big long straightaway. Hair Razor gets pretty good corner through there. Looks like he gets a decent exit, just a little car slide there, and then that takes us up to Conrod Straight, sorry. And yeah, there's some fun stuff here around some of this racetrack too, which we'll talk about. And then that takes us for a very long drive, a very long run. This is full speed. The car really is just absolutely using fuel here on the brakes at about the 125 meter board, down in the second gear for some cars, and that takes us up into the chase, which is the section we're coming through right here. And then it's just one more corner around Mount Panorama, and that's this final corner, and of course Murray's Corner here, ladies and gentlemen. So pretty famous racetrack here. Everybody knows the corner names, that knows the track well, I'm sure, but we'll try to remember the best we can here tonight. So Hair Razor is going to come through, and it's going to be a 2:12.8 for Hair Razor. So let's see what Key Tops has here as he's coming in for Aston Martin today, and it's going to be second place. Pickup's going to come through, it's going to be a third place. We got Petrol here, he's coming through right now. Just comes out of Murray's Corner here as he comes across start finish line. He's going to stay in fourth. We got Jakey coming through in the McLaren here. We got Roses right in behind with that McGain trophy as well. Let's see what Jakey's got. Jakey's going to move up into fourth. We got Roses coming through. That's going to put him up into fourth. And Doug is coming through here right now. Let's see what Doug's got. Looks like a P7 there for Doug. Nope, he's just coming around the final corner right now. Oh, he's already gone through. I'm confused, chat. I'm confused. Don't mind me. Doug's still sitting in 8th. We got Mike in the Hyundai Genesis here, and he's just coming around first corner here right now too. So here we go. Let's see what he got as he comes around Murray's corner. Sorry. It's going to be a P6 there for him, and CRF is our last pro driver here today, so our top 10 driver. Just going to do a quick stream check. We got Nathan and Scott Arthur coming in with that thumbs up. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We see you over there on YouTube and Facebook, and we appreciate y'all. So let's see what CRF comes here as he comes through the chase there and heading in towards Murray's corner. So he's looking pretty good. Corvette, not, I don't know. I'm a little up in the air about the GR4 Corvette. I kind of like the car, but I feel like it's lacking a little bit on BOP. But let's see what CRF has as he comes around here. It's going to be a comparable time. It's going to be 10th place, it says here, with the 2:11. Oh, that's his outlap. Okay. All right. I'm confused. Love the commentary. Sorry. Appreciate you, Nathan. I'm a little hit and miss here this morning. I just haven't quite got enough coffee in me. Maybe here we'll have to get a fresh coffee up in the booth here, and we'll have to get into the rhythm here. But it is Hair Racer currently sitting on pole. Mustang is a strong car here. The big issue for the Mustang is definitely going to be fuel around here. Some cars are going to struggle more so than other cars when it comes to fuel, especially climbing the mountain. We got Pigum sitting in 3rd currently, Roses in 4th, we got Jakey in 5th, we've got Mike in 6th with that Genesis, we've got Petrol in the Sylvia in 7th, we've got Freelix here, he is in the Ferrari in 8th, we've got Doug in 9th, and we've got CRF here in 10th. We have Keytops returning back to GTRC here for his first race of the season as well, so welcome back to Keytops, very quick driver. Love to see him come back and doing some racing here with us today. We got Roses back on track, Jakey here as well for Team McLaren in today. New driver Freelix, he's going to come in and take over for Team Ferrari here in the Pro Division this season, it looks like as well, so welcome to him. And we got CRF. We also got 2 or 3 drivers that have other things happening today. We're unable to be here today, so yeah. I'm sorry I'm not able to get on track today. It is quite alright, Miss Devious. Real life has to come first. We totally understand that. You've heard cocaine helps too. Maybe. I mean, maybe. Maybe. We don't condone that kind of behavior on the racetracks, unfortunately, though. So I don't think they would like that too much. Caffeine will do just fine. Keytops here, now up into 3rd place with that Aston Martin. The Aston Martin's proven to be a very... Ooh, Rose is making a mistake there. He's just giving way to the other guys coming down through the mountains. So great racing awareness and track awareness here by Roses. Doug was one of those guys that just went past Roses there. He must have made a mistake coming down towards the dipper. Again, you start coming downhill and towards that dipping left-hand corner to get into the S's at the top of the mountain as you're coming down there. And this is where Doug is here right now. He's just coming into the dipper here as we're coming around, and then the dipper. This is a really rough corner. You get it wrong, you can hit the wall. You get it right, you get a really good exit there. Doug gathered it up there. It looked like he had a little squiggle going through there, and then of course that takes us through the S's here. He's just in behind, I think, Jakey right now currently, and then that takes us up through Forest Elbow, and you really want to get a good clean exit, so you want to take the left-hander as tight as you can without hitting the wall, of course, and then you wanted that sweeping exit to come out back towards the right-hand side wall of Forest Elbow, to the point where you're almost taking your mirror off your car, and that just gives you the best absolutely run you can get on this very long Conrad straight here coming into the chase, which we see Jakey and Doug currently doing right now. Jakey's, where's Jakey? In 8th place here in the McLaren, so pardon me, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what he's got here as he's coming around into Murray's corner right now. And then we'll jump on board with Doug up in 6th there too after Jakey comes around. See if he improves on his time here. It's going to be a 2:12. It's going to be good enough for P2 there for Jakey. And Doug's going to sit in 7th. So Jakey had a fire of a lap there as he's going to jump up into 2nd place on that one. That was a great lap there. We got the Genesis here. We got a whole gaggle of cars coming through here. We just got to find them all as they're coming through. They all just came through. CRF up into 4th. We got Key down into 5th. We got Roses in 6th. Doug's still in 7th. We got Petrol in 8th. Mike's coming around here right now. Let's see if he improves. No, this is not going to be a big improvement here at all. Let's keep going. We got Freelix here in 10th place. So now we know. We know that Ferrari is going to be a very tough car to handle. It's a very difficult drive to get just to get used to and driving around. So it's a spicy car. So kudos to the guys driving the Ferrari here on track this season. It is proven to be a very worthy opponent in the series. We have LJ here coming in with a thumbs up as well. We appreciate you, LJ. Hope you're doing good. My guy Go Jake, he says, are all the racers being drug tested? I don't know. That's up to what happens here at the racetrack, I suppose. We got Jakey here. Ooh, he got it wrong there, and that's going to be a little bit of front end work needing to be done to that McLaren before race time here. We got Pickham's coming up to Conrad Straight here right now as we're heading into the chase, and this is just a very long high-speed sector. And I mean, these poor Group 4 cars, they with that BOP on it just limits to what these cars can really do around here. It's unfortunate, but hey, BOP is there for the driver's safety, so it keeps the cars all equal, quote unquote, as far as racing conditions go on the racetrack. So some cars have more power, some cars are lighter, so they make all those adjustments from one manufacturer to another to ideally make them equal around the racetrack. Pigham's going to sit in P2, so Hairraiser still sitting in pole position here, and he seems pretty content with that. I think he's just going to sit there. You can see Pigham's going to pull up in behind here as well. So 6 laps for qualifying here. I thought we were going to see 7, but it's only 6. So let's see what the rest of the guys have here as they come around. We have Doug just going through there. It doesn't look like he found any extra time there. Let's see if Jakey can grab any more time. Pigham's jumping up ahead of Jakey there last time around, jumping into P2. CRF still holding tight here in 4th place with that Corvette. Again, some of these horsepower cars could play beneficial here on these longer straights, of course, at Mount Panorama. But as we just seen there for CRF, trying to get through these tighter, the uphill and downhill section of the mountain through Mount Panorama here is going to be a little bit more difficult for these cars, as they don't quite rotate maybe as easily as, say, the McLarens or the Porsches, maybe the McGain Trophy, for example, the Silvias. A little more nimble those cars are. Got Key in 6th. We got Doug in 7th. All right, look at that big cluster of cars just parked up at the end of the runoff at the right. That's so where turn 1 is, ladies and gentlemen. That's where the drivers are sitting right now. If you miss turn 1, if you go in too hot, you're not going to make the corner. There's a runaway lane there, and that's where all the drivers are currently sitting here at the end of turn 1, Hell's Corner. So you see CRF's going to come through here. See if he finds any more time. Nope, it's not going to be an improvement here for CRF this time around as he comes around, and he's going to come just to the end of corner 1 here. You can see him gearing that car down, getting her all slowed down, and he's going to go join the gang at the end of the track here. So this is just procedure here at the GTRC. We don't use the qualifying setting in game itself. We just tell the drivers they have this many laps that they're allowed to run around the racetrack, and that's what. And then they do that, and then they have about a 2-minute window to start the race. That allows them to change their tires in this particular situation this week, where we do have available other tire compounds available for our drivers. Typically it's just a racing medium tire that we only allow the drivers to use in this series, but this is a special mid-season race here at the 90 minutes, and at Bathurst we're allowing the drivers to use all 3 racing compounds here today as well. So strategies will definitely come into play for 90 minutes around the racetrack here today. It's a 10 driver grid here today, so it's going to be interesting to see how quickly these drivers space out, or if the pace of the lobby just stays nice and tight and we see some good nose to tail driving here today. It's going to be hard to say. Drivers need to keep it right and tight. Damage model is light in the series, so that if you do incur damage on the racetrack, at least it's only there for 30 seconds and then the damage goes away. In the meantime, though, with the 30 seconds of that damage, of course, it does affect your race car. It affects top speed, it might affect handling, it might affect a few different factors of your race car, so it will be a struggle for those 30 so seconds before that damage does disappear and the car goes back to optimal racing condition in a sense. Of course, tire wear and fuel is a factor here, so 4 times tire wear and 3 times fuel consumption. So every lap around Mount Panorama here tonight will be 4 laps of tire wear and 3 laps of fuel consumption per lap. So these guys just ran, for example, 6 laps for qualifying. That means they've used 24 laps worth of fuel already, and that means that they've used 18 laps worth of tire, 24 laps worth of tire and 18 laps worth of fuel already. So there we go. We're getting ready all from our host, Hairraiser, of course, one of the admin staff here. So the drivers are all going to check in and we're going to kick this thing off. So some of these drivers are going to be racing their hearts off here today. Lots of racing happening here, always on the weekends in Gran Turismo 7 especially. So much love to everybody tuning in and watching from home. We appreciate everybody. And of course, well, it's almost time to go racing. 10 drivers enter Mount Panorama in the GTRC Pro Division GT4 Series. How many drivers survive the mountain at the end of the day is the bigger question. And which 3 drivers are going to come out first, second, and third place? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and there we go. That's it. It's time to go racing. Are we ready? Are you ready at home? You ready at work? You ready in Australia? Kick them tires. Light them fires. Let's go racing, chat. We got 5 reds, and we're just waiting for a green, and we're off. And ooh, the Mustang gets a great start there. And we may have seen a slow start from the Team Ferrari in back there. Maybe just being a little patient. First race of the season for him here. He's just going to feel everybody out, maybe. Hair Raiser, ooh, gets a great launch there. And Roses comes out of that corner sideways in that McGain Trophy. CRF here in second. We've got Jakey bound jumping up into third place there. We got Pickums in fourth. We got Roses and Keytop side by side here as we're heading down this very long mountain straight to begin our race here today. So 90 minutes of Mount Panorama starts now. And here we go, Corvette, Jakey at 2x2 with Roses in the Aston Martin going through the first corner. And look at that, great job by those 2 drivers. We got a race on our hands here, folks, side by side as we're coming into a very difficult sector here. And this is a sector you typically don't see drivers go side by side through too often. And look at this whole field, 2x2, up, in, through the sector that enters the mountain. Here we go, oh boy. Drivers need to be on point coming through here. Usually you see these drivers filter out into single file, but these drivers are absolutely just battling for this thing here very early on. 90 minutes is a long time to go here. You don't want to try and put your car at risk right off the bat. We see a Genesis hit the wall there fairly hard coming around. I can't even remember. Oh, and into Skyline we see what I think is CRF spinning out sideways there. And just getting it a little bit wrong on the entry coming around to Skyline, and that is going to be a very tough race start for Team Corvette. He's got that car spun around, and surprisingly enough, he only has some front end aero damage in that hit. So pretty fortunate there for Team Corvette, but definitely on the back foot right away. It just came out a little bit too hot leading into Skyline there, and it just caught a little bit of that grass and spun that car around at a very high rate of speed. So very fortunate there for CRF. To come out of that with just a little bit of front aero damage, so he's just got to get his head back in the game and get back on the race. Lots of time to make time up here. We got Apex Racing's Jakey here in second place, chasing Hair Raiser in that Mustang. We've got Piggums in third in the Supra. We still got that Aston Martin and that McGain Trophy of Roses and Keytops battling side by side for fourth and fifth place here. So let's get with this battle. This has been a healthy whole lap battle here so far on lap 1. And right now, Roses is just edging out that Aston Martin as they come through Murray's corner to start lap 2. So the first lap of the race, and we've only seen 2 hits so far. So not too bad. Nothing race devastating yet from any of these drivers. CRF's incident was a little bit hurtful, but I mean, he's right there. He's only 9 seconds off the back of these guys already. So still well within this race, but that Mustang looking very feisty here today on Mount Panorama, and he is absolutely just sending this thing right now. We got Jakey coming in second place here in the McLaren, and you can see you really need to try and keep that apex as tight as you can to get this, maximize your exit coming out of that corner, but you have to be careful because that curb will hook your car, and it will also spin the car around on you at the same time. So there's a fine line of how much of that curb you really want to be touching with your race car. So it's a great job there by Jakey. Roses gets a little bit of a wider exit. They're trying to gain a little bit of time on the Aston Martin. He's still well within that slipstream as they come up the mountain here. And here we go. We've seen a couple of... Ooh, Roses got a little bit wrong there, and he just grazing the wall there with that McGain Trophy. That's going to cost him a little bit of time on Keytops up in front there, and that's going to allow Doug Burrow in behind just to gain a small amount of time back. All right, Mike here in 7th place in that Genesis, and we got Freelix and Petrolhead here battling with the Ferrari and the Sylvia for 8th and 9th place. And that Ferrari is doing a great job as they're coming down the mountain here. Lots of pressure from the Sylvia driver behind him. Both drivers sliding a little bit. You can see just a great shot of that engine in the back of that Ferrari there as he came down through Skyline there. So that was fantastic. Coming out of Forest Elbow, good run there by the Ferrari, and let's see if the Silvia can keep up to this Ferrari here. It looks like right away the Ferrari's already starting to pull, but the Silvia does of course have the advantage to that slipstream. So where is CRF here? 7.8 seconds, already making some time back up on that field after that early mistake. Now, drivers are going to get complacent here. You know, 90 minutes is a long time around Mount Panorama. Some are going to fall into rhythm. Some are going to start to lose focus at some points. Anything can happen in this race. So, very early on, no driver can give up that in the first 4 minutes of a 90-minute race. And you can see the drivers are fairly close together here still. This is going to be a healthy battle, I think, here between this Silvia and this Ferrari here today as well, by the looks of things. And where's CRF here? He's just coming into Murray's corner, so he's got a little bit of work to do here, but you can definitely see he is up on the road and he is pushing forward. So GG's to all 10 of our drivers. That was a tough lick for that Corvette driver there, but he has got it back in the right direction. Alright, what do we got going down here? Ooh, I kind of suspected we see some pretty early separation, but Mount Panorama is a racetrack of patience. You really need to be patient, methodical. You need to really make sure you don't miss your marks here. You need to account for extra visuals, for turning points and braking points, especially when you're driving in traffic around the mountain. And of course you got to watch for, of course, all our beautiful wildlife here in Australia. Sometimes that factors into our races here too, but we got Roses here in 5th place, and he's starting to reel in Key Tops here. Pigham's a little bit here again, so starting to settle back into his race here. We got Doug coming around. We got Mike here, 1.3 seconds in behind Doug Burrow in that Lexus here currently, and he's on a personal best lap of the race here so far. Looks like all the drivers' tires are starting to scrub here, starting to feel good. They're getting up the temperature, and cars are starting to feel some good grip, but that Silvia is putting all kinds of pressure on our Ferrari driver. Oops, wrong button. Ferrari driver here today, as my buttons are not working. What is going on? Hey. Come on. Battle. Where's the battle? Right here. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. A little technical malfunction with my key bindings here. Alright. So you can see that Ferrari's got a little more power than the Silvia on this big long on the Conrad straight here. And then that takes us up again into the chase. You can see that's where the Silvia starts to gain. And the Silvia was really good in the corners, and the Ferrari's a pretty good cornering car here too, but it's hard to explain. It's a difficult car to drive. There's a certain way it really needs to be driven efficiently, and it's a battle. It's a battle learning how to drive that car, that's for sure, properly anyways. So Mustang here in the lead on Hair Razor, and let's see here. He's got Jakey. Jakey's still in behind here. He's only 1.9 seconds off pace leader here currently. So Hair Razor's doing a good job of just keeping it nice and clean right now, not making any mistakes, make sure that he keeps the pack behind. And Jakey is chasing. He is in that McLaren right now. He can see that now. He's making time up in these mid-sector, especially coming up the mountain here. The only downside to this poor McLaren is trying to get the power to stay with him here as we get up into these more horsepower needed straights. And that's where, of course, the Mustang is strong. The Mustang has that horsepower under the hood. It has that straight line pull speed. So Jakey will make up lots of time in the middle part of this racetrack, but then you'll see Hair Razor make up the time on these big, longer, straight sections of the racetrack, just due to sheer straight line speed between the two cars. But again, that's where the balance of performance comes into play, and that's why we don't allow any extra tuning on the cars. So of course, the BOP does what the BOP is supposed to do. Pickham's here in 3rd place. Roses has gotten back around. Key Tops here for the time being. So again, battle re-engaged between those two drivers. And Pickham's is about 4 seconds off Jakey here currently. Bites the Roses here. He's got Key Tops just in behind. Now, I'm not sure if any one of these drivers maybe made a mistake or what was going on there, but they've definitely swapped positions. Doug is in 6th, 3 seconds in behind. He can see them up there. And Lexus is doing pretty good job here right now in the mid-pack. We got Mike in 7th, and that Genesis is starting to gain on the Lexus driver up in front here. Bit by bit, he keeps pulling them in. He's just getting into that slipstream range right now, so if you can get a good set of corners here, and get nice and tucked up in behind Doug before we get to the mountain straight. He may have an opportunity maybe to make a move. We have Felix here in 8th place. We've got Petrol still chasing in 9th, and we've got CRF here in 10th place, 5.6 seconds. So he is starting again to gain back on that pack. So Team Corvette, they're really pulling up the racing socks here right now and trying to make up for a very early race mistake. So Jakey, 1.9 seconds behind Hair Razor. It was about 2.1 seconds. So back and forth at 10th here, 10th there between these two drivers here currently right now. We got Pickham's here in 3rd place. Pickham's just doing what Pickham's does. He has probably a strategy in mind, and he's still maintaining good pace here. And from what I can see right now, he's got himself in a better position than, say, the two guys out in front. We got Keytops here. He's now up at the 4th place, and Roses is in the 5th. So these guys are using these long straightaways most likely to be swapping positions here, as that was definitely a move coming into Griffin's Bend, I believe it's called, right at the end of Mountain Straight there. We got Doug here in 6th place, and boy oh boy is Mike absolutely reeling him in here as we're coming around into the S's, of course, a Skyline coming out into Skyline there, I believe. As we head to the Dipper, that gap is 1.2 seconds. So Mike had it within slipstream range last time around here, but let's see what kind of exit he gets here. If he gets a really good exit here, he might be able to get back in on the back end of that Lexus driver. And he does get a little bit of a better exit, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to get into that slipstream. And here we go. So Petrol has managed to find his way around Felix here. So we got Felix coming around. He is, are they pushing? It looks like they're working together a little bit here. Maybe to try and push up that front pack up ahead. Maybe not the worst of ideas here from the two drivers. There's definitely a little bit of teamwork. Definitely a little bit of cooperation happening here between the two drivers. You can tell just in the way that Felix was braking and just staying right in behind Petrol there. So a little bit of strategy coming from those drivers. 5.2 seconds, so 0.4 of a second gain that last lap around by CRF. Fastest lap on the racetrack currently, though, is Jakey with a 2:12.817. So as we're heading into Griffin's Bend here with Hair Razor, you can see 2nd place driver Jakey just chasing a little bit in behind here. And then that takes us up into the cutting and quarry corner. And then, of course, through all of the amazing little seating areas here at Mount Panorama up at the top of the mountain. Some great parks up in there and a little bit of fun stuff. Keytops in 4th, Roses in 5th. Roses starting to see a whole lot more of that Lexus now in the rearview mirror. And that Genesis chasing here as well. Petrol here in 8th. Lost Felix just a tiny little bit here in 9th. And CRF closing. CRF is closing in. Ooh, and a 1 second penalty there for Hair Razor. So I'm not sure where he picked that penalty up exactly, but that is going to give up the lead here most likely to Apex Racing's Jakey as he chases here. This is the one of the worst penalty zones to have to serve a 1 second penalty on here. It's right in the middle of a full power straightaway, and that's just going to be see you later Jakey as he takes 1st place, and Hair Razor is going to have to settle up into P2 here now and start chasing Jakey back down. So unfortunate penalty there for Hair Razor as it drops him down into P2. So there we go. A little bit of interesting stuff happening here today. Got Pickham's here in P3. We've got Keytops here in 4th. We've got Roses in 5th. We've got Doug in 6th. We've got Mike in 7th. And this mid-pack is really starting to tighten up here. We got Petrol here in 8th. We've got Felix in 9th. And CRF is almost in this picture here now. He could see those guys just going up through the chase as he was coming into it. So there's no better motivation for a race car driver than seeing the next position up ahead of you on the racetrack. Alright, Hair Razor here in second place. We got Pigums here in third. We've got Key in fourth. We've got Roses here in fifth. We've got Doug in sixth. We've got Mike in seventh. We've got Petrol in eighth. We got Freelix here in ninth and CRF in 10th. Alright, so missing about 3 of our drivers here today on the racetrack here, of course, due to other reasons. And so almost all of them on the grid here today, which is fantastic. We love to see that. Hair Razor is chasing Jakey down. As 2 seconds was that gap. From Hair Razor to Jakey, and now it's the other way around as Jakey is leading this race. So 1.6. So you can see, I mean, let's just jump on board here. Let's just jump on board with Hair Razor here for a minute. I mean, we don't have a whole lot happening on the racetrack right now. Everybody's playing pretty nice for the most part. Everybody's just kind of not really trying to lose pace with the next group or the next car in front. So we're seeing a lot of patient racing here right now. But Hair Razor is on a mission here. That is to try and chase down the McLaren driver, Jake, right now. And the penalty just absolutely just devastating here for our leader currently, but 1.8 seconds. So Jake's doing a good job at managing that gap from the Mustang here. Let's see how it happens here once we come around Murray's Corner and then through Hell Corner into the mountain straight there as we head towards, of course, the uphill part of the mountain here at Mount Panorama. So, of course, this is, I believe, Australia's premier racing circuit, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong by that, but I do believe that is the case. If we have any of our Australian viewers up in the house right now, you guys, I'm sure, can confirm that for me. But it really isn't. It's just an absolutely crazy racetrack. It's so fun to watch the real life racing going on around Bathurst here throughout the season as well. So it's fun to come and pay tribute to Bathurst as well in the sim racing world, and it's not any easier here in the sim racing world than it is most certainly in real life, with the exception of we don't have AI wallabies and stuff that come onto the track from time to time like they do in real life. That's about the only difference between the two tracks, but the difficulty and the technical factor and the concentration required to get around this racetrack safe and sound for 90 minutes is not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination. So the drivers have definitely got their hands full here today. And it's a game of it's a chess match in an endurance race like this right now. You just gotta go with the flow. You just gotta kind of do your thing. You just gotta kind of chill. Got Pigums here as he's coming through the dipper right there down into the S's in that Toyota Supra. You can see him on the right hand side of that car, of course, right hand steering, and in the rearview mirror there is Keytop sitting very close behind here in fourth place with that Aston Martin. So Keytops has started to lose Roses a little bit here. Rose is coming around here in fifth place as he's coming down up through the Conrad straight right now to Forest Elbow. We got Mike has gotten around Doug for P6 here. He's coming out of Forest Elbow right now up into the Conrad straight. We've got Doug here in seventh. We've got Petrohead now chasing. Freelix is in ninth. Just lost pace a little bit with these guys. And CRF is right there. He can see the next 3 guys up ahead of him here. So CRF right now having a pretty good recovery drive after that very early incident in Skyline at the beginning of the race. I believe that was lap 1 even too as well. So super unfortunate there for CRF. And Jakey Purple 212.621 from the McLaren driver here. And the McLaren's, well, looking pretty good here around Mount Panorama so far. What do we think, ladies and gentlemen? It's definitely got some pace. I have no idea what to expect for pit stop strategies here today, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if we're going to see 3 stops, 5 stops, 8 stops. I honestly don't know. We're going to just have to play it by ear here. We're only 18.5 minutes into this race. So from what I'm seeing right now, that's going to give us another... I figure maybe at about the 25-minute mark, we'll start seeing pit stops from some of our drivers. Maybe not all the drivers, but maybe some. This is just a guess. This is just a guess based off of what I'm looking at for the average amount of fuel in the cars, of course that is. And for the most part, that seems to be the case. We're going to see a flurry of pit stops, most likely at about the 25-30 minute mark, which means that the drivers are going to try and stretch into a two-stop situation. We may see some drivers stop before that point, and we may see some drivers maybe try to stretch a 45-minute race out of a stop. I don't know. It's hard to see what we're going to see, but we're definitely seeing some different strategies on the racetrack here right now. Jakey in the lead, 2.1 seconds. Hair Razor chasing. He's got a 7-second gap on Pickham's in third place. Pickham's has got Key Tops gaining. He's right in that slipstream there. Let's see what happens here as Key Tops chases Pickham's down here. Key Tops has gotten settled into that car here, and he looks like he's settled into this racetrack here now, and he is really starting to be on the move here for Team Aston Martin. So see a little bit of damage on the front right hand side and the left rear of that car, but I mean, this Mount Panorama, you're gonna nip some walls here and there. You're gonna get a little bit of cosmetics for sure out of this racetrack after a 90-minute race. It's a very difficult racetrack, very easy to make that small little mistake and make that little touch into the wall in the mountains. So I think that's all we're really seeing on some of these cars. It's just a lot of light contact in with the walls here, but he does get the job done here on Pickham's to move himself up into P3 as we come into Hell's Corner. And Pickham's didn't really fight him there. Again, very early in the race still. Obviously, drivers have strategies in mind. They're doing whatever it is that they feel that they're going to do. That's going to give them the best chance to win. So we have Mike in 6th. We've got Doug in 7th. We've got... this is starting to get really nice and tidy here in the back end. These guys are all closing back up again here as well. Oh, we got a mistake there from Petrol as he gets really wide coming out of Hell's Corner there. He got really lucky to keep the car underneath of him there. Hey, looks like I'm going to allow Freelix and CRF to gain some time here. Now, CRF has been pushing all race long just to catch this group back up. So let's see if he settles down here a little bit now. And he just sits in behind this pack until, say, pit window comes. And then he can wait for a nice fresh set of tires and some fuel and maybe continue to make a push back up through the grid. We'll have to see what he does here. But right now, after all that pushing to gain, close that 10-second gap up on the pack here, probably just happy to see some guys up ahead, that position up ahead. But now it comes down to a decision. Do I want to battle for these positions? You know, I've really had to work the car hard to get it here. We're getting near a pit window. You know, maybe it's just best to settle in there, save what he can for fuel now in behind Freelix, and set himself up for a good second stint run. Key Tops and Pickham's here, still nose to tail here, and you know, maybe a strategy from Pickham's here. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to let you go by it. I'm just going to sit in behind you here and conserve a little fuel. So maybe a little bit of strategy here coming from Pickham's. We got Roses here in 5th. He's got a little bit of a... he's in no man's land at the moment. He's just cruising. He's just on a nice little cruise here around Mount Panorama here currently. He sees the group up in front. We got Mike here in 6th place, much of the same thing. A little bit of space in between him and front and back. But here we go. We got a little battle kicking here between Petrol and Dugborough here. So Lexus versus Sylvia here. We're going to see Petrol go in as we go into the chase here. Side by side. Oh boy, and Petrol got it on the grass. He did a great job of gathering that up. I thought for sure that was going to be a Sylvia sliding through the grass coming into the chase there, but he managed to keep that car underneath of him there coming into the chase, and he's still in that fight for position with Doug there. So that was very fortunate there for Petrolhead, as could have been a very bad situation very quickly, and he is right on the back of that Lexus. We have Hair Razors made a pit stop here for the Mustang, so our first driver to make that pit stop at about the 22-minute mark. 23 minutes. It was about 2 seconds off. So 23 minutes in, we got our first pit stop for one of our drivers here. We've got Freelix here in 8th. We've got CRF in 9th. And you can see Hair Razor there. He is just going to get that car ready for its next stint. So Jakey in the lead. Now 11 seconds. With Hair Razor making that pit stop, it was about a 2-second gap from him to Hair Razor. So he's coming down the mountain here right now through Skyline, heading into the Dipper. Very difficult, undulating, swinging S sector here. That leads us into the S's once we get into that Dipper. And then that takes us down into a very difficult hairpin downhill corner. Of course, a corner going away from the driver as well. So very easy to get that wrong and pile into the wall there. And then you need a good exit coming out of Forest Elbow onto the Conrad straight here, which we see Jakey getting. Jakey is just cruising. here right now in first place. We got Keytops in second, and Pigham's here now up into third place without a stop from Hairraiser. Pigham's is just chilling. He's just riding right there. We got Roses here, and he's got picked up a little bit of front end damage here at some point coming down the mountain, so it'll take a little bit for that to clear, and then he'll be back underway, but that's going to hurt him, and that's going to allow Mike to gain a little bit of time on him here potentially as he's coming up down through Conrod Straight right now. Doug Burrow and Petrolhead still battling here for 6th and 7th place. Freelix is now into this fight as well, and CRF, I believe, is just in behind there, so let's stick with this here for a second as we got all the drivers coming around the little kink here into the chase. And it is definitely getting heaty here. We got Freelix up side by side. Oh, I don't know what happened there, but woo, boy, Petrol got that all kinds of wrong, and he ends up in that sand trap into the entrance of the chase there. He has no damage on the race car, so the sand did its job. So first and foremost, a huge shout out to the racetrack here at Mount Panorama. The quicksand that we like to call it, the slowdown sand here for the runoff areas at this racetrack, absolutely did its job right there. That Sylvia went absolutely ripping into that sand at about 160 miles per hour, ladies and gentlemen. So our GGs to the safety officials and the engineers here at the racetrack, because that car, it kept that car out of the wall. Got Mike here down in second place. We got Doug in third. We got Freelix up at the fourth place. We got CRF in fifth. We got Jakey coming out of pit lane, and look at that. He is going to tuck right in behind Hairraiser. So Hairraiser is going to get the job done with the undercut here, and he's going to squeak back in front of Jakey with the early pit stop. Got Keytops here in 8th place, and ooh, the devastating pit lane penalty there. We got Roses coming out. He is most likely going to gain that position on Keytops with that absolutely heavy 3-second pit lane infraction penalty that he just received there. That was either on entry or exit. We got Petrolhead here just getting that car all loaded up with some fuel here, and he's going to be back on that track to start his second stint of the day. So now it is Apex Racing's, not Apex Racing, sorry, Pigham's here in the lead with Mike in second. We've got Doug here now currently sitting in third place. Again, Freelix sitting in fourth, so strategies are definitely going to factor into how this race finishes here today for sure. We got CRF here in fifth place, and you can see that car wiggling just a little bit there as he was heading down through the dipper. Hairraiser and Jake here as we're coming in down through Skyline into the dipper right now, and ooh, that Mustang is all kinds of sideways coming down the mountain there. Big heavy car, you got to get that thing slowed down quickly, so definitely fighting with him here with a great exit coming out of Forest Elbow into the Conrod straight there from Hairraiser, and Jake finds himself again trying to chase that Mustang back down. Aston Martin here at Keytops, 3-second penalty. He's going to have to serve that as soon as he comes about midway up to Conrod Straight. Again, like the worst penalty serving zone in the history of Gran Turismo is this penalty serving zone right here. It absolutely destroys your run. So this 3-second penalty is going to relate to about a 5 to 5.5 second time loss here. Just watch. And there we go. Roses was about 4 seconds in behind. And by the time that they get into the chase, Roses may very well be 2 seconds ahead. So almost a 6-second time loss from that 3-second penalty there on the Conrod. So penalties, you definitely need to keep it right and tight here at Mount Panorama, because they make you serve that penalty in a spot where it most certainly hurts you. Got Mike here in second. We got Freelix now in pit lane. We got Doug up into third. Again, CRF up into fourth. He's really starting to struggle with some grip on that car, though. We got Hairraiser here in fifth. Jakey currently sitting in sixth with Roses in seventh. You can see Keytops just in behind there after having to serve that gnarly penalty. Chasing here back in sixth. So we got another right-hand steer car here with the Aston Martin, actually. So I just like jumping on board in these right-hand steering cars. It's just being in North America, our steering wheels are on the left-hand side of the car, so yeah, a little bit of a different perspective. Like to watch it, like to do it, love to sit on the right-hand side of the car and watch some of the races drive around the racetrack and a little bit of a different view. Definitely changes your depth perception when you're sitting on that side of the race car if you're not used to it. You got Petrolhead, Sylvia, much of the same thing, and I think Petrolhead may be having some potential connection issues here. I think we're about to see a disconnect happen here. Called it. Called it, called it, called it. I could tell, so that was not right. I thought when he was coming into the chase, something was a little off there too. He may have his equipment maybe disconnecting on him or something there. I'm not sure, but that was definitely an equipment-based malfunction that we just seen from Petrol in Sylvia. So down to 9 here, unfortunately, with that disconnect. And at about the 29-minute mark here, we saw Petrolhead disconnect, and that was 100% a disconnect right there. Telltale signs, ladies and gentlemen, telltale signs. Doug Barrow here in 3rd place, coming into pit lane. CRF is going to be right in behind. We got Roses here in 7th. We've got Key in 8th. We got Freelix in 9th. And of course, we just lost our 10th place competitor, Petrolhead, due to a disconnect. That's all we really know for now. As information comes in, of course, we'll sort that out behind the scenes. But that will still give him 9th place, 10th place points for the day nonetheless. So at least it's not all for nothing. Again, the drivers put a lot of practice, they put a lot of time, they put a lot of work into these races to get ready for these races every 2 weeks. So it's not their fault that the disconnect happened. It could just be anything. It could be a power outage. It could have just been a blip in the internet connection for a half a second. And that's all it's going to take to disconnect sometimes here from the lobby. So they will still get 10th place points for being on track qualifying and being in the race. So a little bit of solace, at least, for not a very good day for Team Sylvia here in the pro side of things today. Jakey currently sitting in 4th, 2.6 seconds in behind Hair Razor, and then Roses is about 18 seconds. So we've got some little bit of gapping starting to happen here, and we're going to start to see that. Not too surprised to see that. It's going to be interesting to see how many of... Oh, we got Pickham's coming in here for a pit stop here. You can see a very difficult pit entry here in the Bathurst as well. Oh boy, we got Genesis now off at the end of the chase, into the chase here as well. So again, another very fortunate driver not to get into the wall there. And boy, huge credits to our safety crew here at Mount Panorama. They have done a great job of keeping the drivers as safe as they can here at the racetracks. They have saved 2 race cars here today at the entrance of course, the chase here today so far. So Hair Razor and Jakey, as they come around, that should be 1st and 2nd place as they come through Hell's Corner there. Murray's Corner leading into Hell's Corner. And that is going to be to start lap 15 here today. So we should see about 45 laps. 40 laps maybe, I guess, is a little more accurate. If we're seeing 15 and 32, we'll call it 42 to 43 laps, I think, if I think logically here. So we got Roses coming around. He's going to go around again. That's going to give him P3. Here's Piggums and Mike are still in pit lane. No, Piggums is out of pit lane. Piggums is just coming out of pit lane as Roses comes through Hell's Corner there. So Roses is going to have a little bit of a head of steam here. So let's see if he can utilize that to jump ahead of Piggums here. Alright, we got some standings and stuff too we'll bring up on the screen here in just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go over where our drivers are sitting in the competition. Got Richard Watt coming in with that thumbs up. How we doing, my guy? Hope you and yours are doing fantastic. Gonna go check everything out, make sure everything's still running good, ladies and gentlemen. Again, 90-minute race. We got lots of time here to really kind of take it all in. The drivers are just kind of running through their motions here now, and let's talk about Mount Panorama a little bit. find it. It's here somewhere. There it is. Alright, Mount Panorama. Let's talk about Mount P a little bit, shall we? It is the premier circuit of Australia that is the stage of big events such as the Bathurst 12 hours. The beginning and last sections consist of long straights, but the mid-section running over the hill is a very technical section. I cannot talk today. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try that again. But the mid-section running over the hill is a very technical section with steep ascents and descents, as well as a series of blind corners. The great contrast between these sections is the allure of the Mount Panorama circuit. Now, again, it's located in Australia, ladies and gentlemen, so on the map in front of you, we'll talk about some of the fun things in this map here on Gran Turismo. So, Miss Devious here, our absolutely amazing map maker here at the page, has found some fun little things here, some interesting little Easter eggs, I guess, so to speak, here at Gran Turismo around the racing circuit of Mount Panorama. So, if we start right on the left-hand side of the screen towards the track key, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see a blue circle with a white arrow. That is the start-finish line. The direction of the arrow will be the direction we run around the circuit. So we head down into turn 1. That's just down below it, and that is Hell Corner. Now, where we've seen all the drivers sitting at the end of qualifying there, that's that little gray extra piece of track we see coming off. That is a runaway lane for the drivers. They come through there, they come up the mountain straight. Now, that is a 0.7 mile run. That is a fairly lengthy straightaway, which takes us into the mountain sector. And that is Griffin's Bend. And that's that sweeping corner that we see coming off the launch straightaway to enter into the mountain section. That takes us up a little bit of an uphill straightaway into the cutting, which is a couple of tight, quick cutting corners. That takes us into Quarry Corner. From there, that takes us up in towards the top of the mountain. That takes us up through Reed Park, around the Frog Hollow first bend. And then right after that bend, just off to the right-hand side of the racing track, in the distance, there has been sightings of UFOs, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see on the map in front of you, there's a little picture of a UFO there. That is the approximate location of where you may be able to see that Easter egg here in the game. We head back down and around through Solomon Park and into McPhillamy Park and into Skyline. From Skyline, that takes us back down into the downhill sector of the mountain, takes us into a couple of S corners into the Dipper, and then that takes us into, of course, the S's, which leads us into Forest Elbow, and then of course that leads us to the long Conrod Straight. So once you just get onto the Conrad Straight, right on the right-hand side of the racing track, there is, of course, the mountain, the wilderness, ladies and gentlemen, nature itself. There is been sightings of kangaroo down on that part of the racing track here on Gran Turismo, so that is the area that you may be able to see the kangaroo here on the racetrack as well. From there, that takes us up into the Chase, which is at the top part of the screen there, number 7, the red circle 7, that's the Chase. That's a 2-corner part, and that's where we've seen those couple drivers go off at really high speed in the sand trap, really save them out. So you're seeing the green and the orange around the edges of the racetrack, the green signifying grass, and of course the orange signifying sand. And then that takes us down into our final corner of the racetrack, number 8, ladies and gentlemen, back towards the left side of the track map again. That's called Murray's Corner, and right off of Murray's Corner is another runaway lane. And at the end of that runaway lane, there's a black cat that likes to hang out there and watch the races as well. So, a little bit of fun about Mount Panorama here for everybody today. Well, let's get back to the race at hand, shall we? On board with Hair Razor here. 3.8 seconds up the road is Hair Razor from the chasing second place driver, Jakey. So Apex Racing's Jakey here in the McLaren, still sitting in second place. We've got Roses now sitting in third. We've got Piggums here in the Toyota Supra in fourth, and he's very close in behind, and Keytop's just in behind him as well here in fifth place. So these three cars really getting close together. So I guess, hey, what's up, Richard? We appreciate you. We got all kinds of juicy going on up in the chat here. I'm just not paying attention today, apparently. It's not refreshing on my Facebook dashboard either. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I just got a message. Oh. A message from a place that I don't typically see messages from, so we just have to go pay quick attention to that and make sure we're not missing something important. Alright, moving through. Sticking with this battle here, as you can see, Piggins and Roses and Keytops. Not really battling here, but just keeping it close, keeping it together. If these three can link up and make some good bump drafting progress, that might actually help them close that gap up to the front two up in front of them right now, which is 24 seconds. It's a pretty large lead. We've got Freelix here up into P6 here with that Ferrari. He's got Mike chasing in 7th. We've got Doug into 8th and CRF here in 9th. So right now Team Mustang leading the way here in 90 minutes around Mount Panorama. So we're at the just over 40 minutes into the race here so far, ladies and gentlemen. We have lots of racing left to go here yet today. Our McLaren driver, Apex Racing's Jakey, just heading into the chase here. And you can see Hairrazor's just coming out of the chase. So not a lot of space in between these two, but a little bit of a gap, a little bit of a cushion right now. But a little mistake, a little wiggle from the Mustang driver up in front of Hairrazor, and that could change the whole complexion of this first and second place battle currently. Roses here, like I said, in 3rd place. They're 25 seconds off those front two drivers here currently, but this is pack of 3 here, doing a pretty good job. So Roses holding down P3 here currently. Apex Racing's Pigham's chasing, and Keytops here in 5th place, just in behind him as well. From there we head down through the pack. We've got Freelix and Mike here in 6th and 7th place, and both these drivers are relatively close to each other, and there is a 22-second gap between these two drivers and the Keytops in that group of 3 up in front. And then from there we have about a 5-second gap from him to Doug and CRF, our last 2 guys in the group here. Of course, we had one driver disconnect just a few minutes ago during the race here, so that's going to be a 10th place finish for that driver, and that leaves us down to 9 on the grid here today. So, but it is a battle between CRF and Doug here in 8th and 9th place. Alright, Hairrazor rocking and rolling here as he's coming around into the dipper. You can see that Mustang gets unsettled every time it comes through there. You can see a little bit of a wiggle there in the front end of that car. Every time it slams down through that dipper there. And again, a big heavy car here, this Mustang. So, but doing a great job at navigating Bathurst here so far today. Jakey is still right there. He's trying to do everything he can just to keep him in sight here. And then as we're coming in through Skyline here, we have Roses, we got Piggham's just a little bit in behind here. And then, of course, he's being chased by Keytops. These 3 not really been too unfamiliar with each other here in this race. They've been battling with each other for the large part of the race. We have Freelix and Mike here in 6th and 7th place. CRF has managed to get his way around Doug here, so he is going to pick up that position on Dugborough. These guys are about a half a lap behind the leaders here currently right now, but we did see CRF in that Corvette have an absolutely huge hit into the wall outside of coming down the hill into Skyline here on lap 1. So he has done a pretty good job at recovering so far at the midway point of this race. He's back in the fight and now battling for some positions here. So credit is due where credit is due, and credit to CRF there for doing a really good job of getting back into the fight here. Jakey, he's coming into pit lane here. Maybe a little bit of a different strategy now coming from these drivers. So we're seeing all sorts of pit strategies coming into play here. This is going to be an interesting race as far as that pit strategies go here today. Leaves Hairrazor with a 30-second gap currently right now on Roses now here in 2nd place. Piggham's going to come around. He's going to take 3rd. Keytop's going to take 4th. Jakey's still in the pits. Freelix and Mike coming around here in 6th and 7th place. Let's see if they grab those positions. They got a ways to go, though. They got to get all the way around turn 1, Hell's Corner, and up through the mountain straight before they officially make that pass here on Jakey. They're crossing the start-finish line ahead of him, but they still got to beat him around pit exit here. And they don't manage to do that. As you can see, Jakey just comes out in front of Freelix there, just a little bit up the road, 2.5 seconds. So pit strategies may very well draw all these drivers back together by the end of this race. You can see CRF and Doug here just off in the background too as well. So that back half of the pack right now is really starting to get close together. So we might start seeing some good juicy battling here at the back end of the pack maybe. So we've seen Hair Razor go for the undercut last time. Now Jakey's essentially going to try the same situation here. So maybe a little bit of an undercut situation coming from Apex Racing's Jakey on Hair Razor this time. Rose is here in second place now currently as he's coming down the hill. We got Pigums here in P3. We've got Key in 4th. Got Jakey here in 5th. We've got Freelix in 6th. Got Mike here in 7th, we've got CRF in 8th, and we've got Doug Burrow here in 9th. Nolander Gaming is live here right now as well, ladies and gentlemen. He is also broadcasting the Pro-Am division of the same race. So we do have our GTRC Pro-Am drivers on Mount Bathurst track racing right now as well over at Nolander Gaming on Facebook. So go check them out, go say hi, go see what's going on over there, and see where the pro drivers' teammates are doing so far here around Mount Panorama. Our leader coming in for a pit stop here, so you can see that Mustang coming in. Speaking of the man himself, Nolander coming in with the like and the share on the stream. We've got Freelix here in 5th place. We got, smoking those tires as he's coming around the corner. We got Mike here in 6th. We've got Jakey here in P7. We've got CRF here very close behind here in 8th place. And Doug just tucked in behind in 9th. So Roses is now leading the way here. So we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is our 4th race leader of the day here. Different race leader of the day here now with Roses. And, of course, with different pit stop strategies in the 90-minute race around Bathurst. Not too surprised that we're going to see some lead changes throughout today. We have Key Tops here up into P3. We've got Hair Razor, who was the leader of the race. He's come out in 4th place, so he's actually come out a fair bit ahead of Jakey there. Freelix here in 5th. We've got Mike in 6th. Jakey here in 7th. We got CRF in 8th. We've got Doug in 9th. And Hair Razor rounding out the field currently. There, Doug Barrow. Alright, so let's see what Roses does here. Judging by what I'm seeing, he may be able to try and build on this lead a little bit here. Ooh, unless he makes a big mistake there. The Dipper almost sending that McGain trophy into the wall there. Roses did a really good job of gathering that car up and keeping it underneath him there and keeping it out of the wall. It's still keeping a good run coming through Forest Elbow here, but that most certainly cost him some time to Pigums and Key Tops chasing here in 2nd and 3rd place. So little mistakes cost time here when the drivers are this closely paced. Mistakes cost you, and you don't want to make them. So a little mistake made there, and that definitely cost Roses a little bit of time to 2nd and 3rd place driver. We got Hair Razor just coming out of Forest Elbow here as he hits that Conrad straight as well. Oh, and side by side coming down. Oh my, what a battle we got going on here. Woo, doggy, it got spicy coming down the mountain there. This time around, as we had 3 cars coming out of Forest Elbow, 2 wide, 3 wide. That was some great racing right there. All 3 of those drivers made it through there with very minimal anything there. I don't even know if there was a scratch put on one of these cars. That was some great driving by these 3. Going 2 by 2 coming down into Forest Elbow there. That's brave. That's brave. So we got Jakey's in front of the charge here. He's got himself up at the P5. Mike's in P6 and Freelix is in P7. That puts CRF here in P8 and closing in on this pack with that little battle. But that was quite the battle there that we saw coming down through the S's into Forest Elbow. That was not what I expected to see as we were panning through our camera cars here. GG's, boys. GG's, boys. Pickham's here in 2nd place. We got Key Tops in 3rd. We got Hair Razor here. 17 seconds behind. 6.7 seconds behind is Jakey, and he has a little bit of train here. So I guess it's going to come down to the drivers, the racers here. I mean, right now that Mustang is in a pretty good position here to potentially win this race today. He's showing that with the pace. The pit stop strategy keeps putting them back out in the lead. At some point, these drivers need to decide if they want to continue to battle and settle for 2nd place is best, or try to work together and reel in Hair Razor in that Mustang, because that Mustang is most certainly looking strong here today. CRF here in 8th place. Doug's just coming through cutting here right now in the Lexus. Ooh, got it sideways. He had it sideways. Yeehaw. All right, Rose is coming around Forest Elbow, 4.3 seconds. So he's managed to get that little bit of time loss back on the drivers in behind with Piggums and Keytops. Piggums is in that Toyota Supra. Keytops is in the Aston Martin. Hair Razor is in that Group 4 Ford Mustang. Apex Racing's Jakey's in the McLaren 650S. Mike is in the Hyundai Genesis GT4 race car. We've got Freelix here, of course, in the Ferrari GT4 race car. We've got CRF in that Corvette C7, C7, I believe it is, Group 4 car. And Doug Barrow here in the Lexus RCF Group 4 race car as well. So different cars, different manufacturers on the track, and it's all fun and dandy. So I'm just going to bring up the track lap for 1 second so I can make an adjustment on something, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me a moment. Can't get the stream to load, but let's go Apex. Oh, that's not good. Hold on, let me go check on everything. Let me check. It says it's doing alright. I don't know what to tell you, Paymay, my guy. I hope it works for you. Can't get the stream to load, but let's go Apex. Anybody else having that same issue? Let me know if you guys are having the same issue. We just needed to fix our capture card, so we brought the track map back up real quick. Alright, so we got a little bit more information about our little kangaroo section of Mount Panorama here. So up on the Conrod Strait, there is the dotted line, of course, is the path of the kangaroo, and it is a group of kangaroos, as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen. And I guess that a group of kangaroos is called a mob. So a little bit of education coming with our Mount Panorama race here today, of course, provided by our amazing map maker, Miss Devious here. We appreciate you. No, it's your signal. Oh, okay. Oh, you're at the, right, you're at the kart track. Hope you're having fun, dude. I totally forgot you were karting today. I hope you're having a blast, man. Alright, so it is Roses in the lead. Piggums here in second place. We got Key in third. We've got Hair Razor in fourth place. We've got Jake in fifth. He's starting to pull a gap here on Mike, so he's losing that driver a little bit here. We got Freelix and CRF in 7th and 8th, and these two have been pretty close to each other here for the majority of the race. We got Vic coming in with that thumbs up. How you doing, Vic? Noliner coming in with the multiple shares on the stream as well. CRF here in 8th. We got Doug in 9th, and it is Roses, so Roses is going to come in now. So we are seeing multiple pit strategies coming into the race here today. Different pit times coming from the drivers. I can't even begin to predict which driver is in the best position. I feel like Piggums and Keytops have a good shot at winning this race, and I feel like that Hair Razor has a really good shot at winning this race. Can't really count Jakey out of this one either, but it's going to come down to those pit strategies at the end of the day here for this 90-minute race of Bathurst today, so we'll see if they get it right. CRF here in 7th place. He's going to come around in 6th. Of course, they still have to get around Hell's Corner in order to actually technically beat, quote-unquote, the drivers out of pit lane for position. That is the case. CRF's going to take P6 here. Freelix is going to take P7. Doug's going to grab P8 as Roses is still getting that car filled up. So Roses will drop right down to the back of the field here with that pit stop. So it is Piggums 3.1 seconds up the road now in the lead. His Keytops now in 2nd place, and you can see he's still very close to Piggums here, only 3 seconds off the pace right now. Hair Razor was 17 seconds off these guys, now only 12 seconds, so he's taken 5 seconds out of the lead of those two in front. Jakey is 5.3 seconds behind. Hair Razor was 6.7, so he's starting to reel Hair Razor in slightly as well. Mike's losing just a little bit of time here off Jakey right now in the Genesis, but having a good race here for Hyundai. CRF up at the P6, and this driver had an absolutely hard hit with the wall coming out of Skyline in lap 1, and he's done a pretty good job at recovering here so far today. You can see Felix here in 7th place, and Ferrari, he's doing a great job in that Ferrari. Not an easy car to get around this racetrack. We got Doug Burrow here in 8th place, and of course Rose is right now currently in 9th with the pit stop. So 2 stops, 3 stops. We're definitely seeing 2 stops, and we're definitely going to be seeing some 3 stops if we see, if we may even see some 4 stops out on the race here today. It's really hard to say, but right now definitely 2 stop, 3 stops type strategies seem to be the dominant style strategies here right now, and really 3 drivers that I really got my eyes on here that seem to be in the best position to really have the best chance to win. We got Key Tops coming into pit lane right now, noted at the 55-minute mark of this race. Hair Razor's coming around here. He's now going to take that position from Key Top, so that should put Hair Razor back up into 2nd. Jakey here in 4th place. I should put Jakey back up on the podium here as well, as long as he survives Murray's corner, which he does, and I should give him that position on Key Tops here, as well as Key Tops hasn't even made it to his pit box yet. Maybe coasting, as he looks like he's right out of fuel there in that car as he comes in. 0% in the gas tank there. We have CRF now in 5th and Felix now in 6th up in behind. And you can see they're just plugging in that fuel can right now. Doug coming around. That should give him 7th place, I believe, as he comes around Hell's corner here. Key Tops is still there. Roses may even grab that position as well. So you can see it's about a minute pit stop here for tires and fuel for these drivers when they do need to make a pit. So that is definitely putting them basically in the back of the pack when they do make the pit stop. So the pack is close enough that the whole pack will get around a driver when he pits right now. So that's pretty good to see. As this, again, very technical racetrack here, very difficult. You know, you're battling the mountain when you're racing here at Bathurst, not necessarily your competitors as much as it is the mountain that you battle here. You have to be so focused and so locked in and so hyper aware of what's going on around every single corner and around your race car at all times here to really give yourself the best chance to win. So all these drivers have been doing a pretty good job at that here so far tonight. We haven't seen any real major incidents. We've seen a couple of hits, and that's about it into the wall, and a couple of guys go off on, of course, the entrance into the chase, lock it up, making a braking error, whatever the case may be. And that's the point we're seeing here right now. As you can see, Pickham's coming in here, coming into the chase. We've seen 2 drivers go off entering the chase there. But again, the safety crews here at Mount Panorama doing a great job. Safety Sand doing its job. They're slowing the car down and keeping it out of the wall. So Pickham's coming around. He's going to go around again here. And he's about 11 seconds up on Hair Razor. 5.9 seconds up on Jakey, who's 6 seconds up on Mike. 5 seconds gap between him and CRF. We got Felix here in 6th. We've got Doug in 7th. We've got Roses here in 8th. And Key Top 2 seconds behind in 9th place. And of course, Petrolhead, who started our race here, had a disconnect at about the 28-minute mark of the race. And going to finish in 10th place here today. Unfortunate for him. But here we go. 9 left on the racetrack. So Hair Razor's biting away at this lead on Pickham's here. You know, we're past the halfway point. We're an hour into this race. We're 58 minutes into this race, just shy of an hour into this 90-minute race here. So we're getting down to the point now where the drivers are starting to think about this stint, how long they need to stretch this stint out, what they got left for tires, what they got left for fuel, how much time is left on the clock, what the gap is to the driver in front of and behind them. And now the crews are deciding, okay, when are we making that final stop? What are we going to do for our tires? How much fuel are we going to take on? How much do we need to push? How much are we going to need to defend? All these things going through the crews of the drivers' minds here now as they're coming around the racetrack lap by lap here. We're at 26 laps of what I believe to be about a 42 lap race. Doug Barrow here currently in 6th, with Roses in 7th, Key in 8th. Freelix now making his pit stop. That puts him in 9th. Piggums is just absolutely giving time away to the leader here right now. But again, drivers are on strategies right now. And the one thing we've seen from Piggums here today is no immediate necessity to push right now. He's got his strategy. He knows what he needs to do here, and he's in a good position to win this race today. But so is Hairraiser. Hairraiser's had great pace all day long. He's made very, very few mistakes. We've seen him pick up a 1 second penalty early on in the race, which cost him the race lead for a little bit. But other than that, and this driver's been looking very, very good all day long. Jakey is the fastest man on the racetrack all day today. He's been holding that fastest lap pretty much all day. Right now it's a 2:11.876. That doesn't discount that Jakey can take the race win away here. Really, it's just going to come down to these driver strategies at this point up at the top 3-4 drivers here. Mike is only 7 seconds in behind him. CRF, who had just a mistake early on in the race, has done a great job at driving back up into the field here today. We've got Keytops here in 7th. We've got Roses in 8th. And we've got Freelix here in the Ferrari as he's just coming down through the S's here right now. And you can see it is a battle in that Ferrari. To keep that thing absolutely right and tight down through the S's and through Forest Elbow there. So Piggums here in first place doing a pretty good job. Got the stream up in the race trailer, put on a show. Hey, Jake up the P3. I see you, boy, says Payday. There you go, Jakey. Watch it all the way from the karting track. That is some team love right there, ladies and gentlemen. Apex is always in the house here, rooting on the drivers and rooting on their teammates. We love to see that. We got Mike here in 4th place. With that being said, let's talk about the sponsors for a second here. Much love to, of course, Apex Sim Racing Team and GT45 Gaming being the title sponsors for the series here this season. We've got Hypre Graphics coming in, providing us amazing visuals week in and week out for the series. We do appreciate Hypre and everything they do for us. Hypre also providing us our standings here this season for the series as well, which we'll bring up on the screen actually here relatively soon. Let's do that right now actually while we're talking about it. Let's bring up our standings. We're going to bring up our Pro-Ams first here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk about our Pro-Ams. So this is after the Round 5 Laguna Seca race 2 weekends ago. This is our Pro-Am division lobby. It is Bow Snipe in the lead with 78 points. Trone is in second with 69 points. We've got Bar 27 sitting there in third with 68. We've got Tap there with 59 in 4th, Type R in 58 points in 5th. We've got Throne in 6th place with 52 points. We're sending vibes, my guy. We're thinking of you. Tagger 2X here in 7th. It's 46 points. We've got Formula One in 8th with 30 points. We got Magic Man in 9th place tied with 30 points. And we got Pappy there with 30 points as well. So 3 drivers tied for that P8 position. 750 in 11th with 25 points. Action Jackson sitting there tied for 11th place with 25 points. Bandit with 24 and Chip with 23. And Puzzlement or Sarah with 6. She just started the season last weekend out. So D.90 coming in the house. Hey, you want to talk about legends, ladies and gentlemen? Let's go, chat. Let's go, GT45. Let's bring up our Pro Division standings here now, ladies and gentlemen. So that was our Pro-Ams. That's his Nolander's lobby that he is doing right now live on Facebook Gaming there for the GTRC Pro-Am Division as well. Let's bring up our Pro Division standings, shall we? So these are our pro guys, the guys we're watching right here on screen right now, and coming after round 5 at Laguna Seca 2 weekends ago, it is Piggums in the racing lead, or in the championship lead, sorry, with 89 championship points. Bufouchadar is in second with 78 points. We got Penelope there with 49 points. We got Sikkim with 45. We got Misdevious with 45. Roses with 42 points. CRF with 40 points. We've got Jakey with 37 points. Petrolhead with 34 points. Mike Mates in 10th with 33 points. Doug Barrow right there in 11th with 32 points. Hairraiser in 12th with 28 points. Ibra, who's away on holidays with family right now, on 13 points, and Tattooed Freak, one of our the title sponsor team owner here, with 26 points, who is, I don't know where he is today. He should have been on track. I'll get another tab open for Nolander. Hey, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So there is our Pro Division standings coming into this current round here, round 6. So for those of us that are just tuning in, welcome in, everybody. We do appreciate everybody here on Facebook and YouTube, of course. We see you all out there. This is the GTRC, the Gran Turismo Racing Community GT4 Series Championship. It's a 12-week series. It runs until the end of June. We are at our midway point here in the season. This is round 6, and we're here with a 90-minute endurance race here at Bathurst. So kick it off at mid-season before our mid-season break here at the GTRC with a nice big 90-minute at, well, a really, really famous racetrack. We got Felix here in 8th place in that Ferrari, and Doug Burrow in 9th. So we had 10 to start here today out of the 13 drivers in the grid. One driver disconnected at about the 28-minute mark of the race here. So unfortunate for Team Sylvia here today, but they are still going to come in with 10th place points. So still top 10 points for just being here and putting in the time and putting in the effort. The rest of these drivers, top 9 points. So no matter where these drivers end up in the race, they're going to get really good championship points to start stacking on the championship points here. So we've seen some drivers come, we've seen some drivers go. We got some new faces here tonight, and it has absolutely been a pretty decent race here so far tonight. A little spread out here right now, but these final pit strategies, I suspect, are going to really start to pull these drivers back in together. So we got Keytops and Roses, who again have been battling each other all race long, really starting to close back up again. We got our race leader Pigham's now coming into pit lane for, based off of what I've been watching, his final stop here today. So a two-stop strategy from Pigham's here as he comes out of pit lane there. We've got Mike coming around in a Hyundai Genesis. We got CRF in that Corvette. We've got Felix in that Ferrari. That was a great looking Ferrari too, by the way. Absolutely love it. And Doug Burrow here in a Lexus. So why are we seeing different cars? We might be asking if we're new to the stream. We're just tuning in. We're just checking things out. Well, this is a manufacturer's series as well, ladies and gentlemen. So our Pro Division drivers are, of course, racing for individual championships. Our Pro-Am Division drivers are racing for individual championships. However, there is the same manufacturers available in the Pro-Am lobby as there is the Pro lobby. Now, some cars have been banned for the series. Some cars are not allowed for the series. So we've basically all the front-wheel drive cars and all the four-wheel drive cars have been removed for this particular championship series. And the Nissan GTR was also removed from the championship series. So with that being said, whatever is left for manufacturers are what these drivers are allowed to use. However, the catch is we're not allowed to have the same manufacturer on the track at any given time. So our pros had to choose from the remaining manufacturers and types of cars available in this Group 4 class, being the MRs and the front rear wheel drive cars essentially. And they picked their choices from there. So we have Ford Mustang driven by Hairraiser. We've got McLaren raced by Apex Racing's Jakey. We've got Keytops here in Aston Martin. We've got Bite the Roses in the McGain Trophy. Of course, the McGain Trophy is an MR car where it's smaller brother and a little smaller counterpart. The McGain is a front-wheel drive car, which of course is banned from the series. So McGain's still able to get a car into the manufacturer part of the race here. We have Pigham's, of course, in the Toyota Supra. We've got Mike in the Hyundai Genesis. We've got CRF in the C7 Corvette. We've got Felix in that beautiful Ferrari. And we've got Doug in the Lexus RCF. Sylvia was in, of course, Petrolhead was in that Nissan Sylvia before he disconnected. So in the Pro-Am lobby, same thing. The drivers have the same manufacturers to choose from, and each driver has to choose that manufacturer to drive. That's their manufacturer for the season. So Team Toyota Supra here in the Pro lobby, which would be Apex Racing's Pigham's, for example, and his teammate over in the Pro-Am lobby on Nolander Gaming, Facebook broadcast right now is Tagger2X on screen. He's driving the other Toyota Supra in the Pro-Am lobby. So those two drivers are taking their combined race finishes, their combined totals that they get, including fastest laps and all those extra bonus points available in the series, and those totals get added up as a team manufacturer total. So at the end of the season, the drivers are also competing for a manufacturer's title on top of their individual championships. So lots at stake here for our Group 4 championship drivers this season between our Pro and our Pro-Am division lobbies. Right now, Hairraiser, though, looking in control, but you're going to have to make another pit stop here as we're heading into about the 1 hour, 8 minute mark, and it's probably going to be now, if I had to guess. You can see him diving into pit lane. So now it's going to be the 3-stop versus the 2-stop strategy, and which one's going to be dominant. Hairraiser's on a 3-stop strategy. Ooh, and Jakey almost got pit entry wrong there as he came sliding through in the pit lane there in second place, but he managed to keep the car out of the wall there, and hopefully he doesn't get that there drive-through penalty for speeding in pit lane or something crazy like that. But that was definitely a spicy entrance from Apex Racing's Jakey. So third place driver Key Tops is 34.4 seconds off these two. This driver is either on a 2 or a 3 stop strategy. I'm not really 100% sure if he's going to have to stop again. And as we just talked about what this driver's potential strategy may be, we're going to see a 3 stop strategy coming from this driver here as well. So our top 3 drivers are on some different strategies. We got Roses coming into pit lane now. Pigums has already made a pit stop, so let's see if he can get the race lead back here. This is an undercut situation for Pigums in a sense. He is on a 2-stop strategy here in this race today, so he's going to be on older tires. He's going to be worrying a little more about fuel saving as compared to the rest of the drivers out front. Oh, and the race leader, Hairraiser, is going to come out just in front of Apex, not Apex Racing anymore, sorry, Pigums. I'll break the habit here eventually. But Pigums is going to go up the inside. He's just going to get the pass done on Hairraiser as he comes out of pit lane. So Hairraiser is going to tuck up into second place coming out of pit lane. So that was a good pit stop there by Hairraiser. We got Jakey here in third place. We got Mike in fourth. Key in pit lane still. Roses has been released from pit lane, so he's going to jump Key Tops there in pit lane. CRF's coming around right now. Where does he come out? He's going to come out just ahead of Key Tops there. So Key Tops going to come out in 7th place. Freelix is coming around here in the Ferrari, and he may need to make another stop yet today. We'll see. And Dugborough coming around here in P9. So here we go. What seems to be the final round of pit stops starting to come through here now today, ladies and gentlemen. It's race on. We said at about the 30-minute mark is when the drivers are really starting to think about that final pit stop, the rest of the race strategy, and now it's kind of race on. Hairraiser is on top of Pigums here. This is a battle for the lead between Hairraiser and Pigums, and I said 3 names that potentially are in the best position to win this race today. And the first one I said was Pigums, and the second one I said was Razor, and the third one I said was Apex Racing's Jakey. Right now, Pigums and Hairraiser are in a fight for P1. And Jakey, right there in behind. He's 2.5 seconds behind. So, commentator knows best, chat. Commentator just knows best. What can I say, you know? Sometimes we get it right here in the box. We got Mike here in P4. We've got Roses in P5. We've got CRF in P6 in this driver. Even before this race is over right now, ladies and gentlemen, if there's a Driver of the Day award, it goes to this gentleman, CRF, right here in Team Corvette. This man absolutely lost his car at high speed, coming through Skyline, entering the downhill section of the mountain, completely, absolutely hammered that car into the wall, got himself sorted out, he got himself back on track, found himself 11 seconds behind the pack, and he is in 6th place here currently right now on the racetrack. That, to me, deserves a Driver of the Day award. So CRF right now is most certainly my Driver of the Day right now as we progress, and he's looking for a move here on Roses. He had a great run on Roses coming up to Conrad Straight there, but Roses just got into the corner just in front of CRF there and defends that position. So this might not be the last we've seen from this Corvette driver here yet today. Freelix here in the Ferrari here in 8th place, and Doug in the Lexus here in 9th. But right now, Pigums and Hairraiser running up the mountain here as we come through Griffin's Bend, and we're coming in through Cutting. You can see Jakey just coming out of Griffin's Bend right there. So coming into Cutting is Pigums and Hairraiser. Hairraiser took a much shorter line than Pigums did there, but Pigums is still going to hold out in the lead. Now, not exactly an ideal passing opportunity here coming up the mountain. Smart race cars drivers will wait for a better opportunity here, but if a mistake is made from that car in front, that driver in behind will be prepared to take that opportunity if it arises. So every single corner matters here right now in this race. For Elise Chavez coming in with that thumbs up. How are we doing, my dear? I hope you are doing fantastic. Got the Cartier Queens up in the house here now, ladies and gentlemen. We love to see that. Hey, we got Apex Jakey here in 3rd place. We've got Mike here in 4th. We've got Roses here in 5th place. We've got Keytops and CRF right there battling for 6th and 7th. So Keytops has managed to get around CRF here and put him in behind him. So now Keytops in between himself and CRF. And I am absolutely pleased and thrilled to see Keytops back with the GTRC racing here. He's a fantastic driver. Love to see him back on track here as well. We got Freelix here in 8th place, and we've got Doug in 9th. So, and again, we lost one driver here early on in the race due to disconnection. Really unfortunate. 10th place finish for that driver here today, but good points. Still good points just for making it. Team Jakey says D-Dot. Pigums and Hairraiser, these guys are basically nose to tail. There's a car. There's barely enough room to parallel park a car in between these two right now. as we're coming into Murray's Corner. And, well, I mean, we've got 15, 16 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. The race is coming down to an end, so Jakey's starting to put on the heat here from third place as well. 2.3 seconds behind. The moment that Hair Raiser and Pick'em start the battle, Jakey's in the fight. So Jakey needs to just continue to close this tiny gap up bit by bit here from these two drivers. But it's hard. It's 2 versus 1 here, and it's 2 horsepower cars versus a handling car here as well. So Jakey needs to make it all happen in the uphill and downhill part of Mount Panorama here to really close that gap up. Mike here in 4th place with Roses in 5th and almost getting it wrong coming out of Murray's Corner there. It's going to be Keytop's going to close up on Roses here as we come into Hell's Corner here to start lap 33, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go, coming around turn 1, Hell's Corner. Aston Martin chasing, and Roses goes off. He goes wide. He's going to have some dirty tires, and that should be enough for that Aston Martin to get the run. And it's going to be Keytop's moving up into P5 with the mistake from Roses. Roses is going to tuck it back into the slipstream here, and CRF may have an opportunity to get back on these two here. So maybe a little bit of fuel saving from this Corvette driver here potentially, as well as we still have, like I said, about 15 minutes remaining in this race. But boy, oh boy, as I said, the last round of pit stops is going to tighten this race back up, and we are back into this thing, ladies and gentlemen. It was a pretty dry 45 minutes. I appreciate y'all for hanging out and sticking with us here through it, but it's getting spicy now here as we near the end of this 90-minute at Bathurst, and it always seems to end up like that with these pro drivers. Somehow, all these different strategies just managed to close up these fields, and it's battle on, and Hair Raiser gets a good run. Jakey is just pushing that McLaren right now to try and get on the back end of these two cars. If he can get into the slipstream, that is going to do a world of wonders for Jakey here in that McLaren, and he is closing it up. 1.43 seconds is that gap. We got Madam Mel coming in with that like and that share on the stream as well. Welcome in. All these lovely, lovely legendary viewers just coming in and saying hi today. We love to see it. Hope we're all well. I really do hope we're all well today. Saturday, just a weekend. All right, let's get back up front. It's Piggums, it's Hair Raiser, and it's fight on. So different strategies. We got Hair Raiser who's on a 3-stop. We got Piggums who's on a 2-stop, and we got Jakey who's on a 3-stop strategy here. So it is all coming to face here now because we love you, bro. Hey, we appreciate you, D-Dot. We got David coming in with that thumbs up as well. How are you, my guy? But it is Piggums here in the Red Bull Toyota right now, leading the charge. Hair Raiser in that Mustang is just pushing, and Jakey got it wrong coming out of Hell's Corner there, and managing just to keep that car right and tight here as he comes around the corner. I don't know how he kept that thing out of the wall there. That was some good driving from Team McLaren right there. We got Mike here in 4th place, and he's in no man's land right now. He just needs to just keep putting in his paces, putting in his laps, put his head down right here and keep pushing. Racing's racing. Anything can happen. Those drivers are 22 seconds up ahead of him. If any one of those 3 drivers gets involved in something in or up on the mountain in a battle for position, that could be benefit to Mike here. Keytop's in 5th place. Rose is still very close behind here in 6th place, and he is chasing CRF just a little bit off here in 7th right now. We got Freelix in 8th and Doug chasing here in that Lexus in 9th. But right now the show is definitely between these two, Piggums and Hair Raiser. The Hair Raiser is just maybe a little strategy. He's just going to sit in behind this Super for right now, try to save some fuel, try to save some tire, and just wait for that right moment to push. Hair Raiser has looked absolutely fantastic all day long here around Mount P, and Dirty Air is playing a little bit of a factor in that Mustang. You see him get it really squirrely coming through Skyline and down into the dipper there. So now as we head down the S's into Forest Elbow, a little tiny bit of a gap here for Piggum, so it gets good to exit here. That might help him out, but Slipstream's just going to bring that Mustang right back into the fight here. And now Jakey, he's right there. He is 8.8 seconds off of Hair Raiser, just about in that slipstream here. So let's see if he can grab a little bit of slip as we're getting near the end of Conrad Straight here. If he can get a little bit of slip coming into the chase, that might just draw him back in on the back end of these two drivers by the time they get out of the chase heading towards Murray's Corner here. So on lap 34, we have a very healthy battle here for our top 3 positions. We got 4th and 5th place tightening up between Roses and Keytops here as well. These two drivers have been pushing each other all race long. CRF and Mike now in 6th and 7th place also bunched up. We have groups all through the field here all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, and right down through Murray's Corner. It is 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. How are you doing, Mel? I see you. Let's get on our hood cam here as Gear Wrench. Love that. On the back, that's a Red Bull livery there, and this is what it looks like from a race leader here currently right now, Piggum. So he has Hair Razor chasing in the Mustang, and just in behind that Mustang, you can see that Apex Racing's Jakey car trailing just as they come up through the mountain straight here as well. So, Griffin's Bend, here we go. You want to try and keep it nice and tight around that apex there. You're going to float it out. Just clip that apex. Going to move it over to the right side here. You look a little quick behind. Okay, guy can't make a move. Coming into cutting, you want to try and keep as much of the inside part of the corner as you can. Use the undulation of the corner to rotate the car for you. Be patient on your throttle. Coming up here, you're going to move it over fairly close to the wall. You want to get close to the wall here on the right side, almost taking your mirrors off through that set of S's to get it at full speed. Just a tiny little lift here to get the rotation into the car. Make sure you don't hit this wall, of course, on the exit. And then here you got to get the corner just right. You got to be careful not to cut too much, bounce off the wall and send you off wide, but you don't want to go through too fast. Coming into Skyline is to send you out deep. Coming down through Skyline into the Dipper. This is a Dipper right here. Tough corner, very tough corner. Unsettles race cars, not a race car's best friend. This takes us down into the S's, and this is just a look at what these drivers are dealing with here right now. Forest elbow, take it nice and tight. Look for the big wide high power exit, and this is what Piggums has in his mirror. Hair Razor and Jakey both took very good advantage of that downhill section to gain up on that time on Piggums, and that Mustang. Look at that Mustang go as he closes up on the rear on the right hand side here, and it is side by side here as we're coming into the kink leading into the chase. Who is going to get the job done? Piggums has still got position. That's going to give him the inside of the line going into the chase. So we're going to go side by side through the chase. Great job by these two drivers. No contact made there. A little slide from Piggums, but he manages to keep it under control. And it's going to be Hair Razor getting the job done here in P1. But now that means Jakey is taking a look on Piggums up the inside. And Jakey's going to take advantage, and he's going to take a P2 from Piggums. But Hair Razor is going to go a little deep into the corner, and that's going to give a run to Jakey. And it is a three-way battle for the lead as we come through to start lap 36, ladies and gentlemen. We're going into Hell Corner. First, second, and third place literally separated by a tenth of a second. Side by side as we go through Hell's Corner is Hair Razor and Jakey, and oh my gosh, look at that corner. No touches right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is clean, crisp, fast, side by side racing. And Piggums was like, hey boys, let's open this up. Let's go three wide here. Come on. I want to play. Let me through. Hello. Piggums doesn't know which line to take right now. Both these cars very equally matched side by side here. So Piggums is just going to pick a line. He's going to settle in. He's going to try and get a nice squeeze corner. He's going to try and get a good run here. And he's going to have to settle in behind third place as the drivers come up the mountain. And boy, oh boy, we have a battle on our hands. Jake patiently waiting for the perfect time, says Baby. Oh, and going into cutting, Jakey's going to go in a little bit wide, take it there, and that allowed Hair Razor to close up, but Jakey got a great exit. McLaren very strong through this part of the mountain. This is where that McLaren shines, and he needs to open up as much of that gap as he possibly can because these two power cars in behind will close that up once we hit that Conrad straight here, ladies and gentlemen. So Jakey is doing everything he can to get the biggest gap he can before he gets out of the mountain here onto the Conrad straight. He's breaking every little bit of slip he can, every chance he can. You can see him moving just enough outside of the line there to try and break any kind of slipstream that Mustang might have him behind. And Hair Razor is just on that McLaren. Let's jump on board with Hair Razor here now as he's chasing Jakey down, and Jakey is feeling the pressure from this Ford Mustang driver. And here we go. Watch this Mustang close up on this McLaren. Here we go. Second place is on the chase. Jakey is pushing that McLaren to every RPM it has right now, and just this Mustang is just like, I got this guy. Watch this. We got him. We'll reel him. No worries. Catching. We're catching. I see you. Coming into the chase. Let's see what happens here. McLaren should be good through here. But again, that Mustang horsepower, ladies and gentlemen, is going to keep Hair Razor constantly in this fight. Piggums just chilling in behind right now in third place. He's just watching all this going down. But again, he's on a two-stop strategy compared to these two drivers in first and second place with Jakey and Hair Razor, who are on the three-stop strategies. They have fresher tires. They have more fuel in the tank. They don't necessarily need to make as much of an effort to fuel conserve as, say, our third-place driver Piggums, who's on that two-stop. He does still have to consider the amount of fuel that he does have in that Toyota Supra. Key Tops here still in fourth place with the Roses, almost getting it wrong coming into the chase, sideways coming around the first part of the chase there, but he gathers that car up, and he's still sitting there in fifth place chasing down Key Tops. We've got a battle between CRF and Mike here for seventh and sixth place as well, so CRF up the inside as we come into Murray's corner. There should be job done here from CRF unless he misses his braking point here. Are we going to see a cutback from Mike? No, Mike's going to tuck back in behind that Corvette. The CRF is going to get the job done in P6, so a nice squeaky clean pass there from CRF, grabbing a position here, nearing the end of the race. We have 6.5 minutes remaining, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, the leader picks up a half-second penalty. Apex Races Jakey's going to get a half-second track limit penalty here, and that is absolutely a smile on that Mustang driver's face right now. All he has to do is just keep it close. That half-second is going to cost Jakey close to a second and a half on the Conrod straight now when he has to serve that. So a very, very difficult time for Jakey to be picking up a penalty here, and that's going to maybe even allow Piggums into that fight for that position as well. So here we go, Jakey and Hair Razor here first and second place, and they are coming down through the S's right now into Forest Elbow. A real tight corner here Jakey needs. He needs a huge power exit here to try and get as much of a gap on that Mustang as he can before he has to serve that penalty, because we're going to see that Mustang absolutely just shoot past here once he hits that serving zone. So here we go, half-second penalty, and there goes Team Mustang, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye. So Hair Razor now takes the lead of this race, and Jakey sitting there in second. Piggums is right there in third place, and Piggums not closing up on Jakey quite as much as I maybe thought he would have there on that half-second penalty. So that's fortunate for Jakey. But Hair Razor's the big winner there, as he gets P1 back from Jakey with that half-second penalty. So now Jakey's back on the chase, and now Jakey has got a whole lot of work to do here in the inside sector of Mount Panorama again to make that gap up on that Mustang. Piggums coming around Murray's corner here in third place. We got Keytops and Roses as we're coming up to Conrod straight here now, and they are nose to tail. Is Keytops going to go defensive here? Is he going to let Roses by? What is the play? They are playing nice. These two are playing very nice together. I think they are trying to close that gap up on the P3 driver here right now. CRF in sixth place, starting to lose Mike just a tiny little bit, but not a ton. Not a ton. One big straightaway is all that gap difference makes. We got Freelix here in eighth, and Doug chasing him down here in ninth, but it is Hair Razor and Jakey here first and second right now. This has kind of been a pretty intense battle here for the last 10 minutes of the race between our first, second, and third place driver. More so now between our first and second place over our third place drivers again. Go get him, Jakey, as Piggums is on a different strategy than the two drivers in front, so potentially having to conserve fuel there in third place is Piggums here, but he's there. He's not out of this yet. We got Keytops and Roses here, fourth, fifth place, nose to tail, and these two have been battling each other for a large part of the race here. I think now it's time that they're just going to work together. They're going to play nice, and then all of a sudden we'll see maybe a one-lap showdown between these two drivers for fourth and fifth place here before this thing's over as well. CRF here in P6. We got Mike at seventh. We've got Freelix in eighth, and you can see Doug's closing in. 1.8 seconds is that gap now. From Doug to Freelix up in front. Freelix could be in trouble here. We'll see if he can make the rest of this race on fuel. We've got Hair Razor, though, 0.8 of a second up the road from Jakey right now, and Hair Razor needs a win. He is due. It has been a while since you've seen the top of the podium here in the GTRC, and maybe today is the day for Hair Razor to finally find himself back on the top of the podium here. Jakey sitting here in second place. Piggums here in third. We've had Key, and this is some really, really great skillful driving between these two here right now. Keytops and Roses. It takes a lot of trust between two competitors to be able to go nose to tail around Mount Panorama and not cost each other time. So GG's to Keytops and Roses right now, because what these guys are doing is some super high skill level stuff right now, ladies and gentlemen. That is not an easy task to do here at Mount Panorama, and I mean, these two have been stuck nose to tail for the last 2 or 3 laps like this. So a little bit of contact there, a small touch between the two. I don't think that was an intentional touch, but just a tiny little touch. And look at this, as they come through, they are still nose to tail. So again, some super high skillful driving coming from Roses and Keytops here, and we have 2.5 minutes remaining in this race, so we're just keeping an eye on this. I feel like Roses is just setting him up to make the perfect move at the right time here, so we'll have to keep our eye on that. We got CRF. He has a nice little gap on Mike here now in seventh, and there we go. Doug's just getting around Freelix in the Ferrari there, coming around into the kink, leading into the chase here at the end of Conrod Straight. So Doug just grabbing a P8 off of Freelix there, and Freelix is he's definitely battling that race car, but here we go. First and second place, lap 39, ladies and gentlemen. I figured we'd see about 42, 43. It looks like we're going to see 40 laps here today, so it wasn't too far off, but I believe we got about 1.5 laps remaining, and Jakey catching the wall there a little bit, I think, on the exit there. And here we go, side by side with Hair Razors. We're going down through Skyline into the dip, and he's going to get the job done on the outside, and Jake sent it. He's like, I got to do it here. I'm going to do it now. And he got a great run on that Mustang, and what a move by Apex Racing's Jakey as he gets it done on the outside of Skyline, leading downhill into the dipper. But wow, I tipped my hat. That was a move right there, ladies and gentlemen. GG's to Apex Racing Jakey to get that position, but he still needs to hold it. That Mustang's in the slip, and Piggums is now back in the battle. So here we go. What an incredible move by Apex Racing Jakey. Roses has grabbed P4 from Keytops. Keytops down into P5. CRF, Mike, and Doug had no change in position there. And Freelix, he's surviving right now. This fight is between these two, and I think this is where we got to stay, chat. We got to stick with our leaders here for the rest of this race. They have been putting on a show for the last 25 minutes of this 90-minute endurance race here at Bathurst, and this is why these are the pros. These guys are absolutely battling tooth and nail, and look at this. Piggums now coming into the mix, so Piggums has done what he needs to do with this car now. Final lap here, ladies and gentlemen, for round 6. Right here, right now, all 3 podium positions are in play. Let's do this. You ready? I'm ready. Send it, boys. Let's send it. Jakey in the lead. Hair Razor sitting in second, just in behind. Piggums here in third. Ooh boy. Ooh boy. It is about to get interesting. What a move. That was a great move by Jakey. And here we go, coming into Griffin's Bend. Apex Piggums is just trailing right now. His job is just to make that move at the right time here to get himself pulled into these guys. Maybe he can get 2 for 1 here. Jakey's in the toughest spot here right now. He's in full defense mode as the leader. And he has 2. Oh, and Hair Razor made a mistake. That is an opportunity right there for the McLaren driver to pull away up the mountain here. This is what Jakey needed to see right there in behind him. Jakey has a small room to breathe here as he comes around the mountain. Needs to keep it right and tight. Hair Razor just got a little early on the throttle coming through cutting there and just got that Mustang sideways, and that might have been the decisive factor for Hair Razor here for a potential P1 today. Let's see what happens here. We're almost done. We got CFR coming around 6th, Mike in 7th, Doug in 8th, and Freelix in 9th. Top 5 drivers coming around here. We're sticking with this battle for the lead, though, as Jake in the race lead. It is Hair Razor in a very close second place, but Pickums is just right there in behind in 3rd place. We only have a few corners left in a very long straightaway. Coming out of Forest Elbows in the Conrad straight. This is where anything's going to happen now if it's going to happen. Here we go. Can the Mustang reel in the McLaren? Can the Super reel in the Mustang? It is drag race on as we head up to Conrad straight. Ooh, this is spicy. This is spicy. Let's go, boys. See the deal, says baby. Jakey coming around. He's got a kink. He's got the chase, and he's got Murray's corner. Can he bring it home for the win here? Oh boy, this is close. Oh, this is going to be exciting. Jakey's coming around. He's got 1 corner left to go here, and he is on very limited fuel, ladies and gentlemen. I am not kidding. Jakey's coming around the final corner here right now. Murray's Bend. Hair Razor very close behind it. Piggum's right there in 3rd place, and it is going to be Jakey for the win here. Round 6, Mount Panorama. Hair Razor in 2nd, and Piggum's in 3rd place. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place separated only by a second, ladies and gentlemen, after 90 minutes at Mount Panorama. Congratulations to our podium finishers today. Rose is very close behind here in 4th place, and he managed to get the job done on key tops there. And he's going to bring home a nice top 4 here for himself and Team High Pre Racing as well as he comes around Murray's corner here right now. Very solid run from the McGain Trophy here at Mount Panorama. And that's going to be a P4 for Roses today here as well. Keytop's coming around. Aston Martin, first one back for GTRC in quite some time here. Love to see him back. P5 finish. Last driver to take that checkered flag here today. 6th does go to CRF. 7th does go to Mike. 8th does go to Doug Barrow. And 9th place going to Freelix. And of course, 10th place going to Petrolhead, who disconnected a little earlier on. Congratulations to Apex Jakey, who is our race winner. Now, I can definitely say we're probably not going to see Jakey for a podium interview here today, ladies and gentlemen, due to the simple fact is he is literally on a plane and already heading across the world to hit Laguna Seca to go run a 2-hour endurance race here. So, Jakey, we love you, brother. We appreciate you. Great win, my dude. We'll see you soon. He has definitely got to run, though, chat. His time is very limited here. Whew, that was some racing. You know, these 90 minutes are tough ones, ladies and gentlemen. They take a while. They're a little slow. They're a little dry at times. But, jeez. We got Hair Razor in. Hair Razor's going to be excited. He had a great race here today, and boy, did he let that lead slip. Jake with just an absolutely crazy move on the outside of Skyline, heading down into the dipper to get around Hair Razor on the second last lap, and he is going to make that stick for a race win. Absolutely incredible driving from our drivers. So it is Apex Racing's Jakey and fastest lap on the racetracks, followed up by Hair Razor in second place. It's Pigham's here in P3 with Roses in P4. We have Keytops here in fifth place. CRF, driver of the day in my eyes, in P6. We've got Mike in P7. We've got Doug Burrow in P8. Freelix rounding out in ninth place. And of course, Petrolhead with a 10th place finish. That will be a 10th place finish for a disconnect at about the 28-minute mark, 29-minute mark of our race here today. So, whoo, that was a doozy, chat. That was a doozy. Yeah, we're doing some interviews. You betcha, brother. You know it, Payme. You know it, brother. All right. Interview time, baby. We all know that's the best part of every stream. All right. So, like I said, we're probably not going to see Jakey, but we are most certainly going to see Hair Razor and Pigham. So let's go talk with those two gentlemen here real quick. Get rid of that. Hit that. All right, great job, gentlemen. Mount Panorama, some tough racing here today. Great job there from our podium finishers. Different strategies on the podium here today too, ladies and gentlemen. Some 2 stops and some 3 stops, rounding out our 3 steps here at the end of the day, at the end of 90 minutes at a very difficult racetrack of Mount Panorama. So congratulations, gentlemen. Absolutely very well done here today. And let's start with Pigham's. Coming in with the Supra, the only 2-stop driver to hit that podium here today. How was it out there? How was the track conditions today? And talk us through your race, my guy.
That was tough all around. Props to the other guys for going flat out the whole time, because I don't think I had it in me to push that hard the whole race. So that's kind of why I went with the fuel saving route and kind of take it a little easy and try to save some fuel. But those guys drove awesome today. That was fun.
Absolutely, and I mean that battle, the pit strategies, even the varying pit strategies, you know, the 2-3 stops from Hair Razor and Jakey, and then of course your 2-stop strategy really played out to tighten up the 3 of you really there at the last final 28 minutes of the race. So let's talk about the last 28 minutes of the race. You guys all make your final pit stops. You're all basically nose to tail in a sense. First, second, and third place, and an absolutely doozy of a battle between you 3 for the last 25, 26 minutes of the race. How was that at the end of what I'm sure is a very exhausting race by that point at 1 hour and 5 minutes in?
By the time we got to that point, I knew I had enough fuel that I could push a little harder than I was in the first 2 stints, but I didn't quite know how hard I could push, so I was constantly going a little harder and then dialing it back a little, just trying to make sure I made it to the end without losing them and hoping to have a chance to maybe make a pass at the end. But they just kept going, and there was no catching there the last little bit unless they started fighting.
Absolutely, and I mean, looked like you had lots of fuel left in the tank there. Did that play into your mind in the last couple of laps? Or you're looking at your fuel, looking at your tires, determining if you had enough to just try and full push these guys right at the end of the race?
Yeah, it wasn't until like the last 2 or 3 laps when I finally realized I had enough fuel that I could go completely flat out for the last couple of laps, try to catch them. But by then the tires were gone, and they were far enough ahead that I couldn't get enough slipstream to really catch up and make a move by that point. But it was fun trying. That was a wicked race.
Absolutely, and I mean at one point there, Jake and Hair Razor were genuinely side by side going up through Griffin's Bend and then the uphill sector of the mountain there, and then when you all settled up on the straightaway there, you were trying to find your way through in the middle there, but they wouldn't quite leave you enough room there. Were you just looking to get some fresh air in the nose of that race car leading into Griffin's Bend there, or were you actually trying to maybe potentially find a way around those two and try and grab both spots there?
I'm definitely trying to fire around. It's not. They were too wide, so it wasn't really worth trying to go around the outside and get your tires in the grass. But I was hoping maybe one of them hit a bump and knock them towards the outside of the track enough that I could squeeze in the middle there. But they held their lines pretty good there, so there was no room to squeeze in.
Absolutely. And I mean, just some incredible racing here. You had a great two-stop strategy. I really did think that that was going to be enough for you to come out with a race win here today. But still a great podium finish. And I mean, coming in, again, leading the championship points by, I think it's about 11 points right now over the next drivers. So good third-place finish. Good little lock on points for you here today. Anything you want to add, and any thank yous?
No, that's just thanks for everyone for coming out, and thanks to yourself and the boys for putting it on, and congratulations to Jakey here. You're doing a great race, man. That was definitely a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and of course, great job to our new faces here too. The Freelix coming in for Team Ferrari here today. We had Keytops returning for Team Aston Martin here today. And I think there was one more new face on the track that I might be missing. But congratulations to those drivers. Extra special note to them drivers as well. So coming in, first race of the season, midway through the season, it's tough to get into a well-established season and compete as well as they did. And they did a great job here today. So great special shout out to those drivers as well. But a huge third place finish for you again today. You're definitely well on your way to looking like you're chasing this championship down here this season. So we got a little bit of a break. We got a mid-season break here now, ladies and gentlemen, after this weekend's race, and then we'll be back with the Radicals on Easter weekend, and then GT4 round 7. So our final half of the season starts after that. So I guess what's the goal and the focus now as we head into the second half of the season?
Just keep plugging along and hope the car keeps running well, because so far it's been good, but still got lots of racing to go. Anything can happen.
Absolutely, and spoken like a racer here right now. Doesn't want to make the predictions. He doesn't want to count his chickens before he's hatched here. He's still got a long season to go and a lot of hard work ahead of him. But great job, great racing, and can't wait to see you in a few weeks' time. Enjoy the break and a little bit of time off from the track.
Thank you, sir. Have yourself a great evening.
You too. That was some great racing, Chad, all the way across the field. It was a small field today with 10 over 13 drivers on the track here. Of course, some drivers weren't able to make it today. That's understandable. Real life happens. Huge credit to the staff behind the scenes for working extra hard here over the last week to shore up some numbers here and just make sure we have some good racing for the viewers and the fans here today. So much love to the behind the scenes staff, especially here working extra hard. And, of course, to our new faces coming in. Appreciate y'all. Absolutely love seeing y'all on track. So let's head over to Hair Raiser, and this man has been battling hard this season. He has been struggling with this Mustang this season. The car has not been his friend as far as strategy goes for the series here so far, but boy oh boy did that Mustang look good today. Great run from you here today, and I mean, talk us through it, man.
Thank you. That was a really tough battle. I wanted to get back, to up the lead, and the Mustang uses a lot of fuel. So I knew that I couldn't do a 2-stop as Pigham probably did. I knew I could do a 3-stopper, so I thought I could push it on soft tyres. And to be fair, I didn't expect to get as far up as I did, but it wasn't until the final stop and we all came together, and I was like, oh, I'm just a little bit in front by probably 500ths, but I was like, I wasn't expecting that. And then, of course, it was a run to the finish, which has made me sweat even more.
Absolutely. I mean, all the drivers, hour and 5 minutes into this race, they all start to make that final pit stop sequence to get that final stint, that run to the checkered flag. And you think you're doing pretty good, and you come out and you find yourself in an absolute full stint, long, heated battle for a podium position. I mean, how do you manage that for 30 minutes straight around Mount Panorama to start with, and how do you keep your focus and basically not make it to the point where you let the pressure get to you at that point?
Well, yeah, the pressure was getting to me a little bit because of the pushing so hard on the soft tyres, and that Mustang's a pretty quick car on the straights, but it is a bit of a nightmare on the corners and the downhill section. It's like a boat, but yeah, I mean, it kept me on my toes for the whole 90 minutes. I have never been so. I didn't want to stick it into a wall or the grass or anything. I think I clipped a wall a couple of times, and the back end slid a couple of times, which didn't help me on the last lap to get up to Jakey, to be honest, because I was hopefully going to make a charge for it. But the back end just went around just a little bit, and then I lost another like 500s from him, so I couldn't quite catch up to him. and I knew I got Piggy on my tail as well. Yes, it did. It definitely did. If I hadn't have had that, I would have definitely have tried to overtake him on the last straight before the, to get into the final. But it just wouldn't have it. And of course, I knew that Piggins was behind me, and I knew that he was pushing, but I knew his tyres were going off. And the same was the soft tyres; they were going off as well. But I knew I got a little bit more I could push out of them than Piggy. But yeah, man, it was tough. Congratulations to all the drivers. I mean, well done to the top three. I mean, that was incredible for a whole 90 minutes.
And, I hate to do it, but we got to talk about the move from Jakey heading down Skyline on the second last lap there. Were you anticipating that he was going to attempt a move like that in that particular spot on the racetrack, or were you maybe thinking that he was just going to settle in behind as you guys were coming down the S's through the dipper there and try to make that move on Conrod Straight? Did you at all expect him to try and send it on the outside going through there?
No, not really. When I did see him at the side of me, I was on the brakes, and I thought, right, rather than push it too much and take us both out or wipe us both out, I really tried to keep away from him and just I'd rather be behind him than try and battle him at that, especially in that section of the track, because it was tough. But well done.
The risk versus reward style pass right there in that particular section of the racetrack. I mean, most race car drivers will just settle in single file through that sector. Of course, unless the driver makes a mistake and then the driver has to do some evasive action through the sector. For the most part, it's single file through that sector. So to see that move right there at that moment, and of course, like you said, just responding by just trying to make sure that there wasn't contact. So at least at bare minimum, you're still coming home with a P2 finish if you can't respond. But I mean, the racing, the skillful racing between the three of you up front there, side by side, through parts of the mountain that, typically as a broadcaster, we don't recommend drivers battling side by side through. You guys did it without even touching each other, without scratching a wall, without touching a mirror, without rubbing a tire. So the skill level between the drivers on track here today was absolutely top shelf too, ladies and gentlemen, and you guys really should give yourselves a round of applause, because that ain't easy to do after 90 minutes around Mount Panorama here. So that was some great battling there, and the viewers were definitely on the edge of their seats for the last 20 minutes of the race without a question of a doubt. So great racing. Anything you want to add to that, my man? And of course, any shout outs afterwards?
Yeah, just very well to all the drivers that have taken part today. They've all done really well. I'm sure they did really well on their strategies as well. Obviously, I was too focused on my battle, but and just thanks to everybody involved at GTRC and yourself and all the fans, and of course my wife as well. Thank you.
Hey, we love that. We appreciate that. And we don't have, of course, our podium winner here. He's literally on a Concorde jet going across over to the United States of America right now, ladies and gentlemen, to go hit Laguna Seca up for 2-hour endurance. You guys want to see some more out of Apex Racing's Jakey? Head over to GT Champions on Facebook or YouTube and go check out what they have going on over there, as he'll be battling for 2 hours at Laguna Seca after a very tough race here at Mount Panorama. But congratulations to Apex Racing's Jakey for a big win. I know this driver very well. He's one of my administrators here in my page as well. So, he would definitely first and foremost thank GTRC and the community, and of course the staff behind the scenes for providing the platform in the league to race in here. He would always thank all the drivers for a great race, good clean racing as well, and of course, huge love to his team, Apex Racing team, and I know he'd always say thank you to me as well for the commentating. So Jakey did have to run. We knew that we wouldn't see him for podium interviews here today, but that was a great race by Jakey in a car that really he didn't think was going to be strong around Mount Panorama today, but where there's a will, there's a way, and a good driver just finds a way. So a good solid race win here for Apex Jakey today. And anything you want to add to the race today before we send it off here, Razor?
No, just congratulations to everybody. Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, so 2 weeks' time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be live back with our first round of our Radical series. Easter weekend it starts up, so on Easter Saturday it will be at 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Everything goes back to normal with the time change happening over in the United Kingdom this weekend. And we'll be back on our normal schedules here at the Gran Turismo racing community at that point. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. Much love to the sponsors, Apex Sim Racing Team, GT45 Gaming. Much love to the broadcasting team. We got Nolander Gaming over there rocking out the Pro-Am lobby live right beside us here as well. So much love to our broadcaster over there as well for taking on an absolutely amazing division over there. And if you guys haven't seen the Pro-Am lobby, head over to Nolander Gaming on Facebook. Go check it out. It'll be posted on Facebook stream relatively quickly after he shuts down. Huge thank out, of course, to Hyper Graphics for the visuals and everything they provide for us here to make the stream look so amazing. And of course, to Miss Devious here for the track maps and the great visuals and information that she provides for us to talk to us a little bit about what each racetrack here on Gran Turismo provides our competitors here on the track. So much love, everybody. We appreciate you all, and we hope you all have a great rest of your Saturday. For some of us it's evening time and ready for bed. For some of us it's just kind of getting into the evening and we're just chilling with our families. But however it is that you're spending your weekend, make sure you enjoy every precious moment. Make sure there's lots of smiles on everybody's faces, good laughters, and don't forget to check out a good sim race every once in a while, too, while you're at it with the family. We appreciate y'all. Stay winning. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, you all matter.